keyboard.
Dude, so here, I have an Am I the Asshole story, right? I need some help with this. And I will preface it by saying I might be the asshole because this has happened to me twice now, right?
So, before you tell us the story on whether you're the asshole or not.
What's that? I didn't hear his words.
Can we take bets on whether we think you're going
go ahead.
I'm gonna bet anything that Woody's the asshole, because going into something, if you're already prefacing it that you might be the asshole, you're probably the asshole.
Then you might be the asshole.
And it's something indicative, if you're asking a question, if you're an asshole, that you kind of know you're an asshole.
I'm gonna say that Woody is an asshole, but only in he's being a retaliatory asshole. Like someone else was an asshole first, and because of that, Woody became an asshole. So I vote double assholes.
PJ?
You guys are both bullies. Let me just say that right now. I think Woody's a very kind guy in most situations, but in this one, I think he might end up being the a-hole, bro.
All right. So you'll tell me when the story's done, and I will do my best to tell it without bias. So I messed up the wrong camera. Anyway, back on topic. We're in the airplane, and I have the middle seat. I'm not sitting next to Hope. She's behind me. And this guy comes in. I don't know where. He's like Colombian or something. He's got some string, like 1 centimeter thick braided headband on and long, floppy, like Quibblecop hair. And
oh, you're the good guy then in this one.
Classic Colombians.
Colombian.
Yeah, he's like Colombian or something.
Best friend is Colombian.
Anyway, I'm in the middle seat, and I have my arms on the armrests, but only like the back fifth of it. Like I'm intentionally not taking all the armrest. And he comes down and he pulls this like power play move where he like leans his shoulder into me, bumps my whole arm off, and puts his arm on the armrest. He has taken the spot that I previously had.
I want a quick fact and honesty check. You said you were taking up 1/5 of the armrests. I don't see how that's possible unless you were sitting like this.
That is exactly how I was sitting. And I left like 80%. The front, in front of me.
80% checks out. All right, continue.
yeah. So, so anyway, and I'm only, like, my arm is in. I might have a book or something, but I'm just barely touching the back of it. And he pushes my arm off the armrest, but not with just his elbow. It's a whole shoulder kind of like, that he leans over to me, takes like, 10% of my chair temporarily, and then goes back. And now suddenly, as the tide sweeps into the ocean, he's got the armrest. He has full possession of it. And I'm like...
he came in, took a little bit of Poland, and at the end of the war left and acted like you wouldn't know. You didn't go back to where you started.
Right. And so in retaliation, what did you do? Did you beat his ear?
I'll tell you where we're headed with this.
Fingers in the nose.
I am at first like shocked by this move. And I'm burning in my head, like, does he know what he just did? Is this an intentional move from
a trained move.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
I respect that.
So anyway, he leans forward. He wants to put his bag under the seat in front of him or something like that.
Wow.
So he's given up possession of the armrest again.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I reclaim it while he's gone, right? And now, again, just back 20%, and I'm there. But this time, I'm fucking locked, right? I'm like, it is going to take like 2 to 3... Yeah. It's going to take like 200 pounds of pressure to move my elbow 1 goddamn inch. Because I have this thing. Like, I am nobody's fucking victim, and certainly not this Colombian douchebag. So
you're not even relaxing on the armrests. These are just spite.
Yeah.
He's like Samson trying to push the temple down.
Just fucking, I'm locked in and whatever. So he comes back and he tries his move again, but this time his move fails, right? It's not going anywhere. And it's like more than one. It's like he's up against a fucking marble column at this point. There's no moving this elbow. And then he starts talking to me about it. He's like, "Hey, can you move your elbow?"
How did he sound?
You want me to do a Colombian? It was like, hey, do you want to move your elbow? And
hey, you got me moving this elbow. I have a bagel shop to get home to.
I don't know what I got going on. He was like Bane. So anyway, he asked me to move my elbow, and I'm like, I'm only taking the very back of the armrest. You can have all the front. I'm trying to share it, but that's where we are. And he goes, "Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take the front and I'll take the back?" And I said, "Because I was here first." And he goes, "What is this, high school? Like, because you here first, that's your rules?" Right? And he's trying to make me feel like a dick, but I don't know what his rule is at all. You know, I'm taking it because I'm there first. Admittedly, perhaps immature for someone as old as me, but you know.
How old is this gentleman?
I'm gonna call him 35.
Still an adult. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, like his reasoning, I guess, is just I deserve the shit you have. Right? You know, my reasoning, I'll admit, not the soundest, most mature. I was here first, but what's his? I mean, why does
socialist?
He wants to redistribute that armrest. And guess what? He gets the back part.
And you know, truth, front, back, I didn't really care. What I did care about is this fuck's opening move was pushing me off the armrest altogether. Like that is not allowed.
What did they call it when Russia went into Ukraine and just kind of took it? What do they call
annexation?
And he was going to annex your fucking armrest.
Yeah, not on my watch, bitch. So,
you're not wearing Woody's gamer tag.
Damn straight I am. So anyway, he's like, "What is this, high school?" And I'm like, "But you know, why would the armrest be yours? I'm giving you the front. I'm on the back. You know, what do you want?" He wants to split the armrest down the middle, right? But I think what he really wants is just where my arm was, like, you know, and I'm
nobody wants the front half of an armrest.
Dude, the armrest is an inch thick. Right? I don't understand how you can even share it.
You should just and put your arm around him. just put your arm around him like he's a date. Like yeah, this is much better. Come here. Like I pulled him pretty close.
So anyway, he says that we should both split the armrest along the side. Oh, this is a good part. So he says, this is not my same flight. This is not my first flight. That's what he tells me. And I told him, I'm a pilot, which isn't true. Right? But
whoa, this took a turn. Okay.
It's gonna be true soon though with your little weird chair.
It'll barely be true. I'll be some sort of lawn chair aviator. But
I'm a pilot. Well, you're sitting in the wrong chair, sir.
Right? But I wanted to somehow I wanted to take back this isn't his height. And in my head, there was this whirlwind of like, dude, if you're bragging about how many times you've flown, probably less than me. When you get to the stage where you'd rather not fucking fly at all, you're on my level, when he's like, I've flown before. Well, that's quite the accomplishment, you fucking Colombian drug dealing douchebag dickwad. Like, I'm not impressed with the fact that he had flown before and thought that he perhaps knew the rules of armrest etiquette better than I did. So, with that, somehow he got into, he's like, you know what? You can have the armrest all flight long. You can have the entire armrest, and I won't touch it at all. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be because at this point I no longer feel bullied. And I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. Like, I'm happy to share the armrest.
What was the tone of you saying this? Were you like, hey, this isn't over. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
No, it wasn't like that. As soon as he said,
trying to walk away, and Woody was dragging him down.
Nah. Give me those nuts. Get the fuck over here.
When he said, take the whole armrest the whole time, I don't care. I was like, well, I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the bad guy here. You pushed me off the armrest. You tried to force it from me, and that wasn't happening. And
now I don't like it because he gave you the armrest, but you kept the conversation going. You should. Now it's like a 17th century cotillion where it's like, oh, you have it. Oh, I shan't.
Pretty much. So we somehow agreed to share the armrest, and in reality, I was like, I think I took way back, so he could maybe I lowered it to 5% or 10% of the very the back inch. My arm still existed there, but he was able to have what you might consider the back too.
Still a statistically significant portion of the arm.
And then throughout most of the flight, it seemed like he stopped caring about the armrest. He didn't really use it, and he was in the aisle. I couldn't go anywhere else. I was in the middle seat.
Middle seat gets both. And
some people, I've heard that argument before.
One. That's how it works.
Yeah, middle seat, because the middle seat has nothing else going for it.
Exactly. Everybody else has a little something extra. In the aisle, you can get out there on the window. You can lay your head down. On my last flight, I had the window, and I was being real careful to stay off this lady's armrest. And she was like, "You can have the armrest," and I was like, "Really? Thank you." I really mean, I was like, "That's nice of you, because it's yours if you want it." She's like, "Oh no," and I would try to move out of her way. She's like, "Take it, get in there."
All right, so you've heard the whole story, and I've tried to tell it as unbiased as am I the asshole in this thing? Because it worries me a little bit that I've been in this situation twice. I am the asshole. I didn't see that coming.
Asshole. No, it was no, of course not. Yeah, you're totally in the clear on this. I think you knew you were in the clear, surely, because the guy's like shoving you around, and all you really did was like hold your ground the next time it came around, and. You know, he was when he's like, "What is this, high school?" You should have been like, "Yeah, you want to swirly, you fucker." Like, I'll take
dude. That lines like that ran in my head afterwards. Did you get your ass kicked a lot in high school? Because then, yes, this is like high school.
You're like pulling a George Costanza. You're like, "Yeah, well, I slept with your wife, pilot, doctor."
Well, I just got off the phone with the jerk store, and they're a lot of you.
But yeah, no, I actually was, because the fact that this has happened to me twice now makes me feel like, you know, am I doing something here? What?
Just it's always Frank's alter ego is Mantis Toboggan, and he claimed to be a doctor and a pilot on the flight. So that
I think that I was going into it thinking you were going to be way more of the asshole in it, but you get a huge amount of leeway for being in that middle seat in coach, you know, because I
ain't no Casey Neistat.
The aisle more than the middle, but I know most people like the aisle and the window more than the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But, definitely superior.
Need some perk to the middle, and so it's understandable that you would take both armrests.
Yeah, the middle gets nothing. Like for one thing, like you're squished between two people, right? Like
lean anywhere either. You
can't lean. You've got to stay straight up and down. You can't even really stretch.
You have to do that bullshit where, like, you know how your Delta chair, you can hit that button and it goes back 8/16 or half, like, and then you have to like basically lean back, hope that one of the people next to you hasn't leaned back, so there's a small little jut out where there is. You haven't back yet, and you just kind of. Like a more precarious sleeping surface than when Frodo and Sam are climbing up Minas Morgul there, trying not to fall, and you're always just, oh fuck, okay. And then God forbid the person next to you lean back.
Dude, United has new seats, so I don't know. Both of the flights that we had, the seats were only like 3 inches thick, and it's made a huge impact on the leg room. Like, I don't like United. This is not an endorsement. But I'm used to plane seats being like a good 8 to 11 inches thick almost, right? Like, they're big padded things. These were narrow little like race car seats or something.
This doesn't sound like a good thing to me. I'm sorry.
I strongly approved of it. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was missing padding at all, and I definitely... Yep. So, the question is this guy... I'm sorry. For people watching the show or just listening to the show, there's a good guy, Greg, sees a picture on Facebook of a married guy he knows with his secret mistress, tags him, right? Mm-hmm. Is he good guy Greg or scumbag Steve?
Scumbag Steve.
He's scumbag Steve.
Bros
that is something that you do. Well, no, it doesn't come down to bros before O's. It comes down to something that you do privately, not make a show of it for other people. So you would just message someone privately and say, "Hey, I saw this picture on Facebook, and I don't know what's up with you guys. You know, if you wanted to do that,
no, you blackmail them. What's wrong with you?
You know what? You're right. I haven't. You're a way bigger piece of shit than me. I need to take it.
That's a good line. I really need to step up what a piece of crap I am.
Yeah, I know. God, Kyle's putting me to shame. He would never have bought that homeless person a sandwich. He would have bought a sandwich for himself when he wasn't hungry and eaten it in front of him.
Mayonnaise.
But yeah, I would not tag someone on Facebook for that. Definitely not.
That's scummy. And you're right. It's the public thing. It's some sort of a public shaming thing. You know, you could mess that guy's job up. You could mess up, you embarrass his family, his children. You know, when stuff's on Facebook, everybody's, involved. You know, maybe this guy's kids are humiliated. Maybe you don't know who that mistress is. Maybe that's his kid's teacher and she gets fired or something crazy like that. Like, you can fuck some shit up. So, and the mistress doesn't deserve to be outed in that public kind of way. So, yeah, scumbag Steve.
She might.
What were you thinking?
I was kind of torn. I don't think the mistress is. If she is completely innocent, then she is. But I suspect she knows and she's sleeping with a married man.
What makes you suspect this?
I think that
because all we have to go on is this meme.
In my head. Oh, you know what?
Just a made-up
okay,
meme.
First of all, I'm realizing that people just have fuck sessions now and don't know each other, right? If you rewind this back to like when I was dating back in the Stone Ages, then it took a little while to get laid, and
you had to pay a dowry, a goat in my day,
and you don't date someone for like 9 weeks during the courting process and not get an inkling that maybe he's married, like some sort of clue that this is who he really is. But nowadays you just say, hey, I'm only here for one night on Tinder, and so that you could more you can more effectively hide that you're married. So I no longer know like I thought I did. But if she's dating a guy that she knows that is married, I think she's doing a bad thing. And
she's definitely doing a bad thing. But like Kyle's right about the kids, everything else is involved there. Like, it's not just that guy that you're fucking over. It's like you're humiliating a whole family. You don't know what that lady's situation is. Like, just handle it privately. Slide into the DMs and tell them there.
Taylor's
or maybe you find out that they have like a whole like open marriage thing, and you get like humiliated. Like maybe the wife is like, yeah, that's Denise. I fuck her too. Why don't you mind your own nosy business?
Wait. I'm not a Facebook expert, but I don't think you can tell I tagged you. Can you?
I have no. So. I don't even use Facebook.
Yeah. I think so. I haven't used it in a while, but I want to say that I've seen it say like, Jim tagged Kyle and blah 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 blah. Like I think you can. I'm out of my depth here, but if you can, I don't like that. I don't like people in other people's business, especially if you're not some sort of like public figure. It's one thing if like fans or whatever, and they have some interest in you or whatever, but like to be just like fucking with some other civilian, I guess I'll refer to them as, a regular person out on Facebook is just, it's like, don't you have anything better to fucking do? Like, first of all, you're on Facebook. Go get a fuck. I hate Facebook. I hate it. I hate social media and the people like on there. Like it's like a high school reunion that never ends. People judging and figuring out Susie married Mark. Remember? Like, who fucking cares that you're at the beach with Susie and Mark and the kids are there and they're showing off their kids like they're little items. Like nobody wants to see those pictures of your fucking kids. You think anyone cares about your fucking kids? Congratulations, you were able to propagate. Like it's what you're born to do. Facebook, you dummy,
is filled with children pictures. What you're telling me is you got fat.
Oh, if there's no picture of you. Yeah.
Are you talking about women and men or women?
I've had women like message me and their like profile picture is a picture of their kid, and like not even them with their kid, just their kid. And I'm like, this is worse than when like you hear about like there's kind of a meme about a dude hitting on a girl and his picture is his car. And she's like, either you're a Decepticon or a douchebag.
Neither one getting in these panties.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I see a woman and she's like hitting on me and like her kid is her, like I don't mind so much that you got a kid, but like what the fuck? I don't want to like see your little 3-year-old blonde daughter's face every time you're like typing some dirty shit to me. That's a real turnoff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna. At first, I thought I was leaning towards Goodbye Greg, but after hearing Taylor's argument of being like, "Hey, if you want to do it privately," scumbag Steve.
Yeah, the only reason to do it publicly is to make like a look at how good of a guy I am. Like
now we're not sure about that though.
Or to stir shit up, like to try and exacerbate a potential situation.
Yeah, right. I feel like the wife should know in this situation though.
She should. Yeah, I would just send it privately, just to be like, hey, your husband is with this woman and she's way like not. I don't want to stress this too much, but I have to. Way better looking than you.
Yeah. Like oh my god, it's such an upgrade. I think you're fucked.
When I found your account at first, I kept searching because I thought you must be like his mom or something like that. But no, it turns out you really got a good guy. You know what? Maybe just let him do this. Let him do this.
Yeah. Maybe he'll tire of her. Maybe we're trying to salvage this way because you're really ugly.
Maybe he'll tire of her.
And your Facebook, I noticed, with just pictures of your kids. So you're fucking fat.
Woody hushed a grown man.
I did that on the show a few weeks ago, and I really regret it. I was. What happened was somehow it was incredibly important to me to give this like investment advice. When your kid has a christening, use that money to start the college fund. And I could not get the floor. And I didn't want the topic to just roll onto something else.
Mhm.
And instead of saying like I wish I had, guys, this is important. And then everyone would have let me talk.
Mhm.
I said, hush. And I'm like, Woody, you're an asshole. Stop that. that was not the move. That was not the move. And I apologize. I fucked up.
Have you been hushing kids in your like real life?
No.
God damn it! I'm
on the show.
Woody.
He was giving you an out.
Yes, I'm
He was
sorry.
giving you-
I've been
When someone asks you if you're a
I've been
guy,
moonlighting as a
you say
kindergarten
yes.
teacher.
Kyle serves up the ultimate out on a silver platter.
I'm like,
no,
no,
that's
I
not
go,
right.
When I was streaming, people were coming into my stream. They're like, "Yo, Harley, next time you go on PK, you gotta hush Woody." And I was like, "Why?" They're like, "You got to. That's the thing now." He hushed people.
That would be
I was like,
completely
okay.
appropriate. I deserve it.
That was like the time before that. They're like, "Harley, you gotta call people sons of monkeys on PK." I was like, "Why?" They're like,
have I ever explained, dude? Have I talked about that on the show? The Sons of Monkey thing.
So
we all read you loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Zach said I already told this story. Yeah. In fast forward, we say that in my family for like 20 years now, decades. I've heard that. I thought it was
all the way back to the 1800s, if you know what I mean.
It's like what we would call it's like a curse word substitute, like when someone says fudge or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's what it is in my head. But
or their pants are nice and low, and you're just
a black
like,
man, a son of a monkey, and then I realized what I did afterwards.
I can still remember the eye contact Kyle and I made through the webcam as soon as that happened. Like,
you know what the best part?
To me, that was like shucks, like the most innocent, benign.
It was just dag nabbit.
Harley, here's the problem with that, though. So first of all, he's completely innocent. This was not a racist thing.
Of course.
However,
oh no, I know where this is headed.
We don't have a lot of black guests. We don't have a lot of female guests.
Mm-hmm.
As far as,
By
forgive me if
design.
I'm leaving someone out, but I, off the top of my stoned head, because I just did a bunch of Delta 8 in the other room, we've got like 2 black guests on rotation, and we don't see them too often. There's Adrian Foster, former NFL player, real chill guy, and there's Wolf, our paintball guy. Same thing. Interesting fella, travels the country.
Yeah, I know. He's a chill guy.
Super chill guy. Love the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Woody was having a conversation with Arian Foster, and I believe the joke that Woody made, which was
I
so
think it was
fucking
with Wolf.
funny.
Am I wrong about that?
Oh, did you double up on Wolf? No, you're right. You
it
doubled
was
up on Wolf, because if you'd done this to Adrian, we'd have had a meltdown.
Yeah,
What he said to Wolf was,
Name's
what he
Arian.
said to Wolf was, yeah,
The Wolf said, my parents ran away or something like that, or my dad wasn't present, or I didn't know my dad. And I made the banger joke of, oh, that's right, I forgot you were black.
Oh,
That's a good line.
But this is taken out of context. We have to have the context that Woody told me that he didn't like black people because they bullied him in college.
I thought you were going to help me. I thought you were
didn't like-
serving up
he
this
didn't
out.
like
I'm like,
black
last time I'm taking it. I don't know what he's about to say, but I'm agreeing.
like every now and then, like you do something so awful, you don't. I wouldn't tell my dad. One time, I was at his farm, and he was away on a trip. I've probably told you all this before, but there was a bird on the power line, and I normally would never shoot a bird on a power line with anything more powerful than like a 22, because you don't want to risk shooting the power line into,
Sure.
right? That's a big deal. But there he was, and I had a really good rifle. I had this big Remington 40XB 22 250 with a 36 power Unerdal scope on it. This is the gun you use to cut playing cards in half. It'll put 3 bullets in the same hole at 120 yards. It's what it does. It weighs 15 pounds or something, and it's a small caliber rifle. When you shoot it, it goes key. It barely moves, but the scope's like gyroscopically stabilized, so it doesn't move. It stays stationary. This is the gun to shoot a bird off a power line. But I didn't know my dad had zeroed it for like some other range. And so at 50 meters, it's shooting real low. And so instead of making the bird go poof, which is what a 22 250 will do to a robin, it'll go poof. It's really satisfying. You can hear the bullet hit it. it just shot the goddamn power line in two. Just shot the big power line in two. Now, I've never seen a power line hit the ground before. It hits the ground and starts jumping around.
Yeah.
Shooting blue fire and making this noise. Well, the plasma is cooking the grass and blackening everything. And it's moving. I didn't know it would actually move. And there it is. There's death.
Mm-hmm.
There's death right there. We're looking at it. You know, that fucking thing. And of course, the electricity's gone to an entire farm. And God knows where else.
Anyone that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just me. It's just me there. So I had to run around, start generators, go to the gas station, buy a good 20, 30 extra gallons of diesel, make sure I topped all the tanks off, babysit those generators and like make sure everything was good until Dad got home. And I was like, man, that lightning hit your power line right in the fucking middle. Can you believe that? Hero Kyle saved the day, though. You know, you don't have to pay me to be your watchman, but I take tips.
Thank you, Kyle.
And to be fair, I did step up and save the day. I just didn't mention that it was an act of Kyle, not an act of God.
So really, the weather's been tremendous. Like,
dude, that's what our neighbor said when I was getting some diesel from him. He was like, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear no lightning. I ain't seen no storm. Well, it was a freak storm, and it was a very quiet lightning.
Sounded a lot like a gunshot. Actually,
it was
called the one strike storm.
I was basically just like, shut up.
Shut up.
Did the wire stay like shooting out plasma and stuff? Like did you just like leave it like that, or like what happened there?
It kept doing that for a significant amount of time, like a couple of minutes, and then the way I remember it is it stopped, and I think that's because there's some safety things or somewhere where the grid realized that it was detached and turned the power off. Somewhere along the line, it turned itself off there. Oh no, I went to the power company and told them about the freak, lightning storm.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They say, wow, sounds like real freaky.
Yeah,
we're 3 miles from there, and my car's dry.
Happens all the
time. That's 100% accurate. Everything you just said. It's about 3 miles. Yeah.
About 3 miles. You walk in soaked with like a rain hat on.
Oh yeah. I had my umbrella. I was like shaking it off as I walked in.
Don't even look outside, everybody. It's a madhouse.
I saw the umbrella and went, hey.
Yeah.
That was I didn't tell
Real
Dad that.
Wet.
What happened with that was Scott ratted me out to my dad. He told my dad, but then he told me, he's like, man, I let it slip about the thing. And I was like, damn it. I'd never told. And so like the next time he brought it up, I remembered that he knew, and I knew he was trying to fuck with me. And I was like, I did it. Don't try to pretend. Don't try to make me squirm, old man. I know, I know.
You feel like messing with him. Like, now you're trying to turn me into the bad guy and all of this. Like just gaslighting your dad about the power lines.
I'm the savior in this story. God damn it. I was stress testing that line. If it can't take a 22-250, I mean, come on.
Let me tell you, it was ready to pop.
Ready to pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lucky I've never seen a downed power line in person. I bet it would be kind of neat.
More impressive than that.
I haven't seen one that was doing stuff.
More impressive than that. I was driving into town one day in Livonia, and I was driving past the post office, and there's a power line where one of the cylindrical power things that are up on the power poles. I don't know what they do.
Transformer.
Is that what it is?
I think they're called that. Yeah.
That gray cylinder that's up there, whatever the fuck that is. Lightning hit that before my eyes, 75 yards from me, and I'm looking in that direction because I'm driving, and I saw that fucking thing explode, and it made a huge fireball of blue and gold plasma, and then like sparklers rained down like in a movie. I thought that was just a movie effect, like when I blew up that car and they like CGI'd it all up. They're like, yeah, and then we do this, and it's that same effect that's in every. It's just a plug-in. But it looked like a fucking plug-in in real life. I watched that thing explode. It was badass. You could hear it. Well, obviously it was lightning. It was deafening.
It was deafening. You could hear it so clearly, so well.
Lightning's awesome. Every time I've seen lightning a bunch of times do crazy shit. My uncle was working on a car, had a floor jack, a big metal thing on concrete floor. Lightning hit a tree outside, came through the floor jack and gave him a jolt.
Oh my God.
And like dropped him to the ground, and he's like laying there all fucked up for a while. They had to help him into the house.
Jesus Christ.
My cousin was working inside of a poultry house, and he had his hand on a metal feed line. Lightning hit outside, ran inside, and hit him. And he was just jolted so badly. He was just in full, like, he had lost it. He was just crying, like screaming, crying, like he was just from the pain, I guess. But he was just sitting on the ground with his hands like this, crying when it hit him.
So he wasn't being shocked anymore, and he was still.
No, it was just it hit him in one, like, bam, kind of like jolt, and then you're
probably in shock. Like your heart just almost stopped. You almost died.
I was a real pussy. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, what a baby. Yeah. It's only lightning.
Big boys don't cry, right?
Did Ben Franklin cry?
Hell no. He had syphilis too. You know what he did? He said, "Bring me another."
Bring me another. They call him the Genghis Khan of syphilis. Did you know that?
Goddamn right.
He spread it around more than anyone in history.
Super quick before I get into the layout, I am telling what I think is the truth. It is possible if you heard the other side, I get something wrong. But this, I'm not intentionally lying. All right. So I'm going to get my motorcycle fixed. They tell me it'll take 3 days, something like that. It ends up taking 14 days. And I am head over heels enthusiastic about getting it back, practicing. I'm buying equipment for it. I really wish I could see it up close and make sure things fit, and it is the way I remember. So I anxiously want it back. At first, I wasn't really nagging them too hard because, they said it would take 3 days. You don't call on day 2 and is it done yet? Like, fucking chill. So I call on day 4, hey, can I come get it? And they're like, no, trouble so far. We need to buy a new computer. And it's and we need you to approve the purchase of the computer. It's more expensive than original. So, okay, misdiagnosed out of the gate. That's cool. I'm not a good mechanic, but enough that I know you don't always get it right on the first try. Cool. But why didn't you call me instead of me calling you?
Yeah. How long was it going to sit there unordered before you called me? That would be my first question.
Right. So I approve it and they order it. And then I call 2 days later and I'm like, hey, status update. And they're like, oh, it didn't come in because we ordered it the wrong way. We have to order it a different way. Oh, Woody, you don't understand. BMW's so hard to work with. They're such a pain. They're this, they're that. Are you the BMW parts guy? You should be an expert at working with BMW at getting parts. This is literally what you do for a living. But they're like, don't worry, we'll order it the correct way now. And I'm like, all right. So then I call, has it come in? And they're like, no, it turns out it hasn't come in. I'll open a case. Every time it's like Kyle mentioned, progress hadn't been being made until I called. And I'm like, I should have called 2 days ago. This sat unfollowed up because I didn't follow up. And if I don't follow up, when I follow up, progress gets made right on the spot.
They really get grease.
While I'm on the phone, they open the case and something, that makes them kick it into gear. It gets shipped. While I'm on the phone, they're like, oh, turns out this was never going to come because we ordered it incorrectly. It's me calling that's making this progress. Well, I put 2 and 2 together and realize I need to call all the fucking time, right? A couple times a day if I need to. They don't pick up the phone. Hardly ever they're picking up the phone. So I'll call 3 times in a row, just ring, 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 ring. And okay. The service isn't picking up. Parts, because there's this voice tree thing. Parts isn't picking up. Sales always picks up. Hey, can you walk over to service? They don't answer their phone. And they do. And I'm hoping perhaps this is embarrassing, right? Perhaps when the rest of the store is always saying, half my job is getting you to pick up your phone. There's something wrong, right? I should be able to call a business and get a person to pick up the phone. Most of the time, they pick up 10%. So anyway, this happens. Things are pushing along, and they needed an answer from me. Whatever. I called. They didn't pick up. I go to parts. They didn't pick up. I go to sales. Eventually, the guy talks to me, and he's like, Woody, we need you to leave a voicemail when we can't pick up the phone. I was on the phone with another customer, and I'm like, Jeff, I'm not sure you've ever called me back. I've tried that way, and things don't get moving along. I need to talk to someone. I was like, I hear you, but that hasn't been working. And he's like, I hear you, but I have 3,500 customers. To which I'm thinking, at once, right? Like right now, you've like, really? And it just created this sort of awkward moment for me. They eventually finished the bike. I think they were happy to get rid of me, and I was happy to get rid of them. But it had me, and by the way, I by the end, I'm calling a lot, twice a day. You're 2 weeks late. I'll call twice a day. I need a person. I need to talk to a human and know that's it. And like Kyle mentioned earlier, things don't move along unless I nag. So at the end, like picking up the bike, I'm like, I shouldn't feel awkward. I'm the customer, right? He's the one who told me to leave a message. You're the one not picking up the phone, right? Mm-hmm. In my weird head, I'm like, I don't want to get fired as a customer. There's not that many BMW motorcycle dealerships around here, right? I do need a guy who wants to fix my bike. Yeah. But anyway, am I the asshole for calling?
No, I would have gone. I would have taken that. I would have gone so insane. I would have wanted. I would have talked to the general manager of the store. I'd have went and saw him in person, because that would have caused a real stink. He's everybody's boss. I'd have called like someone at I'd have been tweeting at BMW. I'd have been looking for a BMW representative, like someone who does with customer service, like nationwide. I'd be finding out if there's some way you can report these people, if there's some sort of like customer satisfaction rating, some way you can damage their business. If they don't do X, Y, and Z. I'd have been looking for alternative places to take the bike, and I'd have been like considering calling a lawyer. Yeah, absolutely. I would try to find damages. You know what? I was using the bike. I was going to use that bike to make these vlogs. These vlogs would have earned this much income. You've damaged my income because I've missed X amount of the riding season. I'm seeking damages in the area of $10,000 to $25,000.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
I mean, you're like, well, I guess I got to make double daily videos again.
No, you don't have to make those videos. You just have to prove that you intended to make those videos, which is pretty easy to do. You were intending to make those videos.
Indeed. I don't know. He scolded me. And it's like, well, yeah, I am totally like getting salesmen to walk. The guy's like, I'm in the Indian portion, and I know it. That's the far side of the shop. But I was fine with that. I was like, yeah, I'll wait. And
you had to do your job today, huh?
Right?
You've got 3,500 customers. Where am I in that line? Am I the most annoying? You'd think you'd want to get rid of me as soon as possible.
I wanted them to think that. I was like, if I'm them and I have 4 bikes back there, I'm like, fucking work on the black one. He's calling at lunch today to find out if we worked on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong.
Like, yeah, Jeff, I am calling. And just so you know, maybe you can free up a little time, I'm calling tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. and again at 4:30 p.m.
When do you take your lunch, and what's your cell? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever explain what the delay was? Like why they kept or they just kept saying they didn't have the parts and that was what the delay was? Or
dude, the explanations were not satisfactory. It was stuff like BMW's so hard to work with. With COVID, shipping is unreliable now. Although that turned out not to be the thing. Once they shipped it, it came right away. But they said that. They said that when they ordered it like any normal part, but it turns out I needed a computer, the ECU maybe. With that part, you have to order it through a different place, like you order a key. And I'm thinking, this is really a lot more information. Oh, like you order a key. All cleared up for me now. Like that means fucking anything to me. And then, but when you order the key, it tends to come overnight. So we hope we have it tomorrow. Call tomorrow. Nope. Call the next day. Nope. Oh, look. I'll open a case to find out why it hasn't even shipped yet. This is the kind of explanations they were giving me. And it all resolved in my head to, you're not very good at ordering parts. First, you did it the wrong way. Next, you didn't notice it wasn't coming until Squeaky Wheel over here picked up the phone. Like, how long would you have waited if I wasn't calling?
Yeah, look, it's a completely different scenario. I dropped my watch off at a watch repair place today. It was early in the day. He said, "Oh, you need a new clasp." I said, Yeah, I know. We don't have to replace the band, because the band is $800. He's like, No. We can get the clasp. That's $40. I can overnight one if you want, or there'll be one here in 3 days. It's a $40 clasp, $10 to overnight it, $3 if you can wait 3 days. I'm like, overnight it. It'll be here tomorrow, right? Yes. I'll have it ready for you by noon tomorrow. And I'm like, awesome. If that thing ain't ready by noon tomorrow, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem, Woody.
You owe me.
I'm going to raise a lot more stink than you just raised.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a clasp on a watch that I don't plan on wearing this week. I'll sue damages.
I think I was in the right on this thing.
I didn't know what time it was. I was late to a very important meeting.
I was going to vlog. I was going to start doing watch vlogs.
I was going to buy a lottery ticket. You owe me $6 billion.
Welcome to FPS Russian Watch Review. Everybody's like, what the fuck? This content sucks.
My watch better be ready tomorrow at noon.
6 years and he comes back with 4 years.
An intermediate level knowledge of watches at best.
This one's very pretty, very gold. Now he's Borat.
This one is blue and this one is black.
I'm looking forward to getting my watch back. That class has been broken for a long time.
What company has forever lost your business and why?
Dick's Sporting Goods. Oh, this is a good question. I gotta think about this.
Dick's Sporting Goods? Why, Kyle?
What was that?
I went there to spend like a lot of money one day. We needed lots of stuff.
I didn't get the name of the company.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Which one?
Dick's Sporting Goods. I went there to spend a lot of money one day. I had a list of things that needed buying, and it was like $3,000 worth of stuff. It was a bunch of stuff. I needed like lots of shit. Among it was like an air hockey table and a ping pong table. There was lots of stuff. I was buying big things. And I couldn't find anybody to fucking help me. And I was just like, hey, I need some assistance. I want to buy that weight machine and I want to buy that bench press. And over in the other section, there's 2 or 3 table games that I'm going to be buying too. I was like, someone needs some help loading things. And so I'm trying to like let her know I'm here to buy 3 or 4 grand worth of shit. It's real heavy. I'm going to need like 2 guys. Like I'm going to need somebody with a scanner gun and a hand truck. And like nothing ever came of it. And I stood there for like 25 minutes and I like had a bit of a meltdown. Said,
describe the meltdown.
I was like, this is absurd. She's like, well, they'll be here any minute. And I'm just like, where have they been? She said, they're in the back. I was like, I'm leaving. I was like, I'm here to buy. I was here to buy like this and this and this and this. I was like, I'm not buying any of it here. I'll never come here again. No. And she's like, well, they'll be right out. I'm like, but I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
They can come out, but I'm not going to be here. That's what I'm saying.
I think I even tweeted at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I was like, fuck you. I'll never. I haven't been back, but I did go somewhere else and I did buy all that shit. I had a bunch of stuff that it really upset me. I was like, I'm here to do some business, and I can't get them to do their end of it, which is pretty much just take my money and give me their things.
I've got 2. One, of course, is Dr. Mann, the dentist in Cary, North Carolina, that just ran too late. Consistently ran late. I've told this story before. I worked with him. I was like, hey, when are you guys on schedule? Schedule me for then. Oh, right after lunch. Got fired. I fired him. It's fucking run your shit better. But the other one is Gunner Optics, the sunglasses. These fuckers hurt my feelings. Like,
what'd they do?
So I was at a Call of Duty XP, and I was like a competitor at the event, the first one. And at the time, one of the ways to qualify was to like do really well in these online events. They'd run them for like 24 hours, and someone got like the most kills in TDM or something. And then he reached out to me, T Mart, and another guy, maybe fear creds, but I'm not sure. And said, hey, let's be a team. We'll go together and whatever. So I'm there and I'm picking up like my competitor gear, which includes like a shirt with my like a high performance fabric shirt that all the pro gamers wear and with my name on it and like some gunner optics and some other swag and like a bag. And I'm standing in line and they help, like the line is slow. You know, they're going through helping one guy and the next guy and the next guy. There's like 20 people in front of me and it takes everyone like 2 minutes, you know, so I'm just waiting and waiting. And when they get to me, they help the guy behind me. And it's like, the fuck? And then they help the guy behind him. And then they help the guy and I tap, tap, tap on the shoulder. Like, hey, it seems like you skipped me. And they're like, no, this line is just for competitors. And I'm like, I am a competitor. Like, check my name. It's on the list. And I get this like, sure it is. Yeah, right. Like I'm faking or something. And it's like, you fucking ageist, you know, like you fucking skipped over me. Cause I'm like, I don't know, 38 at the time. And, you know, they're just like not having it. And I eventually like, look at it, like check my name. It's on the thing. And then they like begrudgingly, there was no like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I thought you were here with someone like someone's dad.
Like, I guess you meet the minimum requirements. So
yeah.
Give them this $8 sunglasses that we paid $2 for. Yeah. Those guys are just they like cum bucket, scummy, skeezy cocksuckers.
They reluctantly gave me my stuff and they were just like total dicks about it. So years later, I was in an event with, I think either Envy or Optic was holding it. And they did like I don't know, Envy versus Optic, like at the Optic House or something like that. And they invited me along. Not because I'm a pro gamer, obviously, but because, you know, like at the time, if you put my name on a Call of Duty event, it would draw a few more eyeballs than maybe it would have otherwise. And and I go there and I play with the guys and it's all fun. But then the Gunner people asked me to sign a release. Right. And I didn't even know it was a Gunner event or anything. And they're like, you know, hey, can you sign this release so that, you know, we can use your likeness and all this shit, you know, in our promotional videos. And I was like, no. Right. And they're like, oh, you know, you have to, like, we've been filming you all day. Like, it's going to be really hard to like edit you out of like every scene all day long.
Like these are wide shots of like 8 guys and Woody's one of them.
Well, you didn't seem to have a problem editing me out of the line earlier.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So like, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Well, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, I was at a Call of Duty XP event and just like fucking laid it all out there like I just did. They skipped over me. Next guy, next guy, next guy. And I'm not quite over it. And they're like, oh, could you just sign? No. And, you know, and I didn't sign and they had to edit me out of all their shit. And it wasn't like they just blurred my face or anything. They just didn't use any scenes that I was in. And if I had an opportunity to do it again, I'd fuck them again. Because fuck Gunner. They're pieces of shit. They treat me badly. And fuck Gunner.
Yeah, they've treated other people that I like poorly. I don't like Gunner. They always kissed. See, this is something I really hate. This goes back to why I don't like some other people that I won't mention. I hate it when people treat my friends badly and are nice to me. And I see that disparity, and I know that there's no reason for it to exist other than their own greed and what they're trying to extract from me. It just shows they just don't value this person over here at all. They just value what I can maybe do for them and whatever it may be. And I hate that so much. I immediately like hate you with a burning passion of hate, and like I want you to do poorly at all things and like get in a car accident and get injured bad. I want you to not be able to get erections and your wife to leave you or something. Like, I hate that. I hate it. It's
I'm sorry. When I talk, it silenced you, but that was some good shit, Kyle. Are Gunner optics still around?
The one that I won't go to is Macaroni Grill because I got hair in my food there, but it was 2 different kinds of hair. At the same time, not like a clear pube and then a clear head hair. Like no, there was a black hair. You might be like, oh, how do you know that wasn't your hair? Because my hair is dark brown. I know the difference between my hair held up dark brown and black hair there was a black hair that was maybe a couple inches long, and then there was a longer blonde hair.
Oh.
And so there was a blonde hair and a black hair in the same dish. Like there's probably none of it in the actual food because it was just like a burger. It was just so many years ago.
Poured over my cottage pie. What the fuck was happening back there?
Yeah, it was disgusting. But like nothing ever came of it really. I just was like, I ate part of the food and I was like, yeah, I found hair on my plate, and they were like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Do you want me to bring you another one? And I was like, no, this is the last time I'll come here, because one hair I could be like, okay, maybe there's just some Mexican in the back didn't put their hairnet on, so there's a straight black hair there or something. But no, it was a blonde and a black hair. So there was a lot of recklessness and like clearly someone not putting the food where it should be, because there shouldn't be two people with their heads directly over my plate at any time.
Meanwhile, you missed the poor cook who like just didn't wear their hairnet that day, and they got like a blonde mohawk or something like that, and just that's all that happened. He just got two-toned hair. Yeah, I wouldn't like a little smorgasbord of different kinds of hairs in my food. Like I said, like they shot an interracial porno over your salad or whatever it may be. I don't want that food.
A lot of people consider hair to be like a really disgusting thing to put in a food.
It's a sign of the carelessness in general. See, it's not the hair itself. I'll pluck a hair off your head and lick it. I mean, what could be on there? How much of anything? You could dip a hair in an actual pile of shit. And how much actual shit would be on the hair? You could lick that shit right off that hair. That's not enough shit to hurt you, especially if it's your own shit. Yeah. So it's not the hair. It's that this food once existed in a circumstance in which hairs could just fall right in. Because that means anything could fall right in. If there's hairs falling off your head, then that means there's boogers falling in. There's little eye boogers, those little things you wipe away in the morning and flick away into just somewhere into your room. Those might be in your food. Maybe some earwax. God knows what could be in there. He doesn't have a hairnet on. He's not safeguarding your food. It's moving around, and there's two different kinds of hair. That means that two different dirty people handle your food outside the rare two-toned chef circumstance.
But you're right. It's not necessarily the hair itself, but rather what the hair is indicative of like, okay, does this mean that like my chicken patty or whatever fucking dish it is, that this slid off the plate onto like the metal surface you're cooking on and got some hair, but you just thought, fuck it, I put it back on the plate? Like, I don't think anybody was standing over my plate like scratching feverishly on their hair. It just shows like, if you were careful, this wouldn't have happened. Certainly not twice from two different people. So
I had that waitress that time who smelled like shit. I didn't, but that didn't really turn me against Ruby Tuesdays. I've been back to Ruby Tuesdays since. They've got a great garden bar, but she smelled like feces.
Ugh, I like Ruby Tuesday. That's disappointing. It's like a less good TGI Friday.
I don't like Ruby Tuesdays. I find most of their food to be like greasy based.
I find it all to be frozen dinners that they're heating up, just like most restaurants of that class, but they have a nice salad bar.
Okay.
Yeah, I put Ruby Tuesday like, I don't know, above fast food, but definitely below TGI Fridays, which I legitimately think TGI Fridays has some of their food's really good. Their burgers are really good. I've never had their ribs.
Guys. Like if I'm in that category that's above fast food but below like an Outback Steakhouse or a Red Lobster, then I'm gonna go to Five Guys because it's gonna be really good fast food. Because to me, that's better than like sit down at a restaurant and pretend like it's good food, but it's really microwave dinners like it's Applebee's or something.
You mentioning Red Lobster, another perfect example of a place I will no longer patronize because it was years ago the last time I went to Red Lobster, and their cheddar biscuits are fantastic. That's the redeeming quality there. They're good.
You can buy the mix.
I order. We've had the mix before, and I've
got it upstairs.
Home. But that's so funny. We both have those. But that's redeemable. That's good. That's the whole reason to go there. Red Lobster, the last time I went, I must have been still in high school. I ordered crab legs, snow crab legs, because that's what I order every time I go to a seafood place that has it, because it's my fucking favorite. And usually when you get a good snow crab, like, about the size of the leg, when you break it, there's maybe a little space on either side where the meat is, and it doesn't quite fill it up all the way, that whole cavity, maybe.
Yeah.
Most of it, like when you pull it out, it's near the size of where you pulled it from. I swear to fucking God, there was a cheap chef in the back room at this Red Lobster taking a syringe, like putting it into the crab and like pulling the meat out so we could like redistribute it into other crabs to save money, because I've never opened so many perfect like cracks, perfect clean cracks, only to like look in both sides and be like, huh, well, I guess someone beat me to it. Jesus. Like, and then crack another one open. Fucking nothing. Like little paltry, dry scraps. Like, you need your crab to be moist, not dry. It was the saddest crab I've ever eaten. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So Red Robin's great. Red Lobster would take my top spot of a restaurant I will no longer go to because their crab is pathetic.
Red Lobster has booze, which is nice sometimes. They have those biscuits, which are really good. And they have the Admiral's Feast. Now, you order the Admiral's Feast when you just don't give a fuck anymore, okay? You want a lot of fried food. As a matter of fact, you want all the fried food that Red Lobster has. You want them to bring it to bear immediately. It comes in a platter. This plate is this fucking big. It's twice as big as my head. All right, it's huge, and it's oval, and it's hot, and it's full of every sort of like sea creature that the captain who's running this Red Lobster can lay his hands on. There's shrimp and little clams and oysters and all kinds of fried stuff in there. That's what I get. It's an enormous amount of food. There's like 4 different kinds of fish and shrimp, and it's all
good stuff. Fried though. So like there's like a loaf of bread worth of carbs on that seafood platter because it's just covered in fried
and then I eat the bread.
Then you have the bread.
So I alluded to that story on PKN, and I was told that I could tell that story if you guys want
about
to hear
the old fashioned. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to try to start at the beginning, and just know that I've had to interview 3 different people to get all of this. And so if I get things just a little bit misconstrued with the timeline, I apologize, but I'm doing the best I can. There's just so much to take in. So This is a story about a guy who's 21 years old, who's tangentially related to some friends of mine in their gaming group. And
How's
stuff.
his ass?
Big. He's about 3
story.
Big. He's 300 pounds. He's a 21-year-old guy, and he's a virgin. And he's a very fragile, emotional guy, it turns out. I put that together through a lot of these stories. But long story short, they're doing this big meetup. Everybody's going to meet at one guy's house, and they're going to party and hang out, kind of like what I did in Colorado with my buddies. But they're going somewhere else.
I find it hard to believe that 21-year-old 300-pound virgins watch a dope show like this, but carry on.
Well, that's the thing. They said he doesn't watch anymore, so it's cool. So he drives 16 hours to this friend's house, this gaming friend. They all meet at the house. Let's call it 3 to 5 of them, and they're trying to figure out the sleeping situation, right? Because it's not a mansion. And he's like, "Oh, don't even worry about me. I like to sleep on the floor in my sleeping bag, just like at the dorm." He hasn't ever slept in a bed. He's been sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor always. That's how he feels comfortable. No beds for him. Don't worry about it. So he also notices
out of that.
Like The Blind Side.
He also notices that the grass isn't cut at this guy's house, who, his host. He's like, "Hey, I noticed your grass wasn't cut." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." And so the guy wakes up the next morning. They partied that night, so call it 11 a.m. And we'll call this guy Pete. Pete is our star. Pete cut the fucking grass at 5 a.m. that morning with this man's lawnmower. Not only that, because the man doesn't own an edging tool like a weed eater, he went and got one so that he could edge this man's yard up real nice.
The 21-year-old 300-pound virgin is out doing labor.
Out at the crack of dawn, cutting this man's yard and edging it up without being asked or asking for permission himself. So they go to the casino that night, right? And they're like, playing slots and stuff like that, just penny slots. And someone's explaining to this Pete like how casinos work, how there's no clocks on the wall, so you can't tell where you are, and all this money is just getting poured in. And like, I know I'm losing right now, I just don't care. And he starts crying. Pete starts crying because it's such an awful thing.
The idea of gambling?
Idea of sort of Western civilization and how wasteful and vice-filled we are. And just the casino environment, it upsets him so much he cries.
He's like the Green Mile.
He's
absorbing all this pain.
So that night they decide, after a bit of gambling, they're going to go to the strip club, right? Let's see some titties, right? So they're walking in, and one of the guys, who's normal, says, "When's the last time you saw a lady's tits in person?" And he goes, "Maybe 2 weeks ago. My mom was changing. I was hanging out with her, having a chat, and she,
okay,
she was changing."
That's hilarious. Wasn't
it
a joke?
No. And they go, "You didn't you looked at your mom's boobs? He's like, well, we were having a conversation. It's rude to just turn your back.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what? He's right.
All right. So things are going to
Norman Bates now.
If I was talking to you and you turned your back, Kyle, I wouldn't like that.
Dick, the things are going to start adding up here very quickly. Okay. So we get into the strip club and the boys know that this guy's a virgin. So they're like, let's send him in the back with a girl and let's tell her it's on us. And, you know, let's let him have some fun.
Hooking him up. Yeah.
He's a rough looking guy. Let me just say that right out the gate. I don't know what you're picturing, but
rough like Wild West, like pirate, or not
rough like Hodor when he was a younger fella.
Okay.
And so Pete goes in the back with this vile fucking stripper. But by the time it's over, he has gotten himself a condom on $500 hand job. And
wait, what?
and a condom on $500 hand job right there in the back.
That condom on. All right.
Okay.
And at some point, like she gets on his phone and is literally trying to transfer money out of his bank account. He's like, no, don't do that. And so get in the car and they're driving home and they hear a noise in the back of the car.
Again?
He's sobbing because the hand job was so traumatic. He's sobbing over the traumatic hand job. And what's more, and I'm not going to laugh at this because it's so dark. That night, and every night afterwards, he had night terrors about the hand job and how traumatic it was.
And I was just laying there. I was awake, but I couldn't move. She was beating my dick.
Nocturnal emissions with his the first ever case.
Yeah.
He decides there's
like
only...
she gets the phone and transfers all his money.
That's right. I have the night terrors.
It gets so much worse. He decides there's only one cure for these night terrors. He has to replace that terrible sexual experience he had with a good one. Yeah. So what does he do? Get on Tinder, maybe hit the scene, like going bar to bar, just talking to girls? No, he finds himself a prostitute. She's 2 hours away or something. She's $200 an hour and 1 hour away. That's the score.
Okay.
She's pretty hot, I'm told. Like think hot chick. I looked at her profile and it's just her ass. So it's, that's all I got to go on. But they said she was pretty. He drives an hour and he buys an hour with her. But he's so scared that they cuddle and watch TV for the entire hour. And she's like, honey, I've got another date after this. Like, that's it. And he's like, okay, thank you, ma'am. And he drives back to them an hour back.
No.
But he's still horned up and he's talking to them. He's like, you know what? I think I'm ready. So he calls her back.
He's gotta be running out of money.
No, he's on. Trust me.
Okay.
He's got way too much. The girl who was trying to transfer the money out of his bank account, she almost got it all. But the prostitutes and the strippers, they're not there yet. He decides, I can do it this time. So he books 2 hours this time. And so he shows up.
Yeah. Virgins are known for how long they last.
He gets himself a good 30-40 minutes of cuddling in. And then he says he has sex with her twice, and it lasted for a total of 1 minute and 15 seconds. Both
Each?
times. No. He also described.
He could have, in theory, booked 90 seconds instead of 100.
This guy
minutes.
tells the truth too much. This is the most criminally honest person on earth.
Yeah, good. So when he kills somebody, he'll confess right away.
He described her on top of him as missionary, so it's hard to tell if they actually had doggy or if what that actually meant. But that's what he said happened. And then he had 30 more minutes on the clock after he came the second time, and she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go.
Oh God!
Yeah, I'm peacing out, and she just straight up left, and so he drove back again. I'm imagining he's paying for hotels each of these trips out there as
She's
well.
not getting a good cussed sat survey.
No, he's not. Oh, he was so pleased.
I want to see
with the
her
service.
Yelp reviews.
I'll send it later.
She's a whore. And 5 stars.
My friend who was the host, it's his house who's getting like the yard done every night. He said, I had stocked the house with snacks, because I'm having all these guys come in. I've got beer and drinks and all sorts of like cookies and stuff. He's like, have you ever seen an obese person stress eat? And I started thinking about it. No, I haven't.
that's
When Wings of
neither
Redemption
here
was
nor
at my
there.
house, I'll say this about Wings. When he was at my house, regardless of exercise or whatever, he did not go crazy with food ever once, unless he really somehow like snuck out in the night. And I do not believe that happened. He never went crazy with his diet at all. He said this guy went and got a 12-pack of moon pies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but I think a moon pie is about 400, 450 calories. A moon pie is graham cracker, marshmallow in the middle, and it's all covered in chocolate. It's
just it's just 3 different kinds of sugar.
It's 3 different kinds of sugar, and they're
220,
wonderful.
he says. Okay.
Oh, that's all. Well, I don't feel so bad now. I think there's big ones though. See if these are the big ones. They're individually
What's a serving
wrapped.
size? Like a third of a moon pie?
That's how they get you.
He goes and gets a 12-piece box of them, and my friend's like, I looked over and I saw you had the box, and then I started watching TV for a few minutes, and we made it like 8 minutes into a video, and I looked back, and he'd eaten 8 of them, and I said, bro, they're individually wrapped for a reason. I was like, you did not say that. You did not say that to his face. He's like, I did. I swear on my mother's life. And one more thing. They were chilling on the couch, and like my friend's, chilling on his own. He's on his own couch, like curled up on the couch, watching TV or whatever. Maybe there's a group of guys around. It's dark. It's night. And he said Pete is very pedextrous, which means he can like do stuff with his feet. And he's always trying to play footsie with you and trying to pinch your toes with his big toe and his. And
I thought pedextrous was when you could molest a child with both hands.
It was like when they told me all these stories, like they, and then another time, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they're in the living room partying, like drinking and smoking and like music's playing. And all of a sudden they hear, and he's sobbing again in his sleeping bag behind the couch.
Is that 5 cries?
He cried every night.
Is that I think that might be the 5th cry.
It's like a foster dog.
He cried like the whole fucking time.
Like a foster dog.
And then the last thing, and this one kind of like made me feel bad about the whole thing. Like the last day he was there, I think it was time for him to go, but he drove himself. So, what time are you going to leave, right? You're going to leave at 10 a.m., right, buddy? No, it's like noon or something. He's still there. And he asked the host, he goes, hey, could we please watch the last episode of The Boys together? And he was like, Kyle, he asked so politely, there was no way to tell him no.
I like it.
So we sat and we watched the last episode, but I made him keep his shoes on.
So no, there was no footsie pinching?
No footsie
going on
whatsoever.
Why did this happen? Was this like an outreach program for special needs weirdos? House that you
it's just him trying to party with a bunch of guys, and they invited a guy they'd never hung out with before. And there's a few other things, but I can't tell them because it makes other people look bad too. And I don't want to do that. But the whole thing is real sad. And when I kept hearing the story from different people, and each person had more details. And the first person who told the story was him, by the way. So don't think I'm like talking behind his back. Like, he told us this fucking story. It is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. And the mom stuff and the pinching my buddy's feet with his toes is just so bizarre.
That would upset me. I don't want someone else's feet touching my feet, or I don't want someone else's feet touching me.
Like, not a man.
When I was 4 years old, my grandpa would do that. It's like I'm gonna get you kind of thing. I don't want a grown-ass man doing that shit to me in 2022, though, okay? Like, Taylor, if we were chilling on the couch, stoned, like watching Lord of the Rings, and you started pinching even more realistically, if you tried to like pull a tuft of the hair that's on my feet and make some Hobbit reference with your toes, I'd get up and leave.
You know what I would do if you didn't leave? I'd be like, this fucking weirdo just let me do that.
Bro, you were supposed to freak out. I thought I was being edgy.
I was giving you a shit test and you failed. Get the hell out, sir.
So fucking weird.
That is, but I feel bad for this guy. Like, first of all, what was the total amount of cash he was out? Like,
feel bad for the hooker.
1,100.
Well, not the first hooker. The first hooker got to watch fucking King of the Hill for an hour and then go to the next job.
And toe cuddle with
hooker.
this guy.
Yeah. Same hooker twice. He just booked the same girl again.
Oh no,
the hot one though.
You say
yeah. It was a hot girl he had sex with.
She's not transferring all his bank account money, and she's hot, and she fucks him twice in 2 hours.
And I told him, I was like, that makes sense, because I think of hookers as I don't know, decent women making a living the old-fashioned way, and I think of strippers as like vile reptiles who can't be trusted, who'll go through your phone and steal your money.
He's also acting like it seems like in his head, being 21 and a virgin is like being 31 and a virgin. Like you're 21. Like you've got time to get it together. You're fine. Like
no, he does not have it together. No.
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what this person looks like. I'm saying he's got time to put it together. He's 21 years old. A young Hodor, tall. That speaks to you know.
He's got grass stains on his shirt at 6 a.m. from secret midnight yard trimming.
The most bullshit thing that I heard in that whole story was this guy thought he was being courteous by mowing the lawn at 5 a.m. Dude, that is so. I would be livid if my neighbor started doing lawn work at 5 a.m.
Which dude is he, Kyle? Camera dude?
The one holding the camera. That'd be funny, right? Like, which one are you? I just like to take the pictures. So you're into photography? No. I just prefer it that way. He's you know, I wrote it in there which one he is.
He needs to stop going. I think he's fucking himself over in the long run trying to speed run with his prostitute strategy.
You're wrong.
Because he's going to get older and older into his 20s without like learning how to organically like get something going in a conversation.
You're wrong.
Nah,
you don't
yeah,
think so?
That's good experience.
Here's what I think. I don't think and like straight honesty based on how odd he is and again, being very honest here, you know, how he looks there. I think that what he really needs to do is learn how to negotiate with prostitutes better. That's his best ticket in life. Like learn how to negotiate with prostitutes better. And here's what you'll achieve. You'll achieve sex whenever you want it with women that you would never be able to sleep with otherwise.
I don't know.
For free if you're quick.
I think this guy has more charm than you're letting on, quick? Kyle. I think he has a very good shot at the third most popular host on this podcast, just based on his lawn care skills alone.
Okay, now that's fair. That's fair. I bet if he stayed at your house,
let him mow your lawn at 5.
I let him do a lot. If he mowed my yard.
Woody looking outside and Hodor's out there on his tractor, just going to town. It's like, Woody, I noticed that you didn't have a certain kind of disc mower, so you can't really get the angles. But I went and rented one. No, certain parts of that story made me think of him in a good way, and then certain parts made me very afraid of him, and like I would lock my door if he was at my house. So I don't know. Odd fellow. And the crying
in my stable if he was at my house.
The crying is a big thing. He's gotta get a handle on the open weeping. It's very unsettling to have a man openly weep around you.
Hey, here's a good question.
When my mom died, I was like, come on, guys.
There's a time and place for some crying, but like
Taylor, I hope you get only one of those an episode of My Mom Died Trump card. Oh boy.
If I had a nickel for every time.
Here he goes, bingo, we're drinking. Taylor talking about his mom dying again.
Literally every time
Taylor does an Asian accent.
Okay, now that's fair. The Asian accent one, that is a bingo one. It's just so damn easy to do a bad one. Like it's just like there's no critique there. Like no one.
My mom died. She tried to kill me.
We've told this story of me being rude to a very slow, bad waiter a couple of times, and now I'm sensitive to this idea that I'm like not nice to wait staff because in my heart of heart, I believe I'm lovely to them. But the thing is, I was at REI this week buying long underwear and a few other items, some jeans for the campsite, and not jeans, pants. And the guy was slow. But before he helped me, there was a delivery guy there, and he goes, "Oh, I see you have a stamp. And you know how to stamp something. Check, right? Yeah. That's how a stamp works.
Easy peasy.
Not this fuck. This fuck takes the man's clipboard, puts it down on a flat surface, takes the stamp, holds it, wiggles. Next page. Holds it, wiggles. There's 4 pages of this. It takes him like over a minute to stamp these 4 pages. Yeah, right? You've seen the Indian guy does
like a notary?
It was a delivery confirmation.
They're trying to save money on ink. Like they've got no ink on there. They're trying to...
I don't know what he's doing, but he's just very slow and deliberate in the sorts of things that he does. Okay. And I have to wait for this to end before he checks me out. I do so patiently. And then it's my turn to get, rang up and check out, etc. at REI. Cool. This is long underwear, and we're putting it in a plastic bag. It takes him like 20, 30 seconds to take the magnetic, like, anti-theft thing off. I don't know why. It should take 2 seconds, but it's taking 20 because he's doing it like it's some sort of performance art where he puts it in there and makes a whole show out of it. And then
did you just say like you want to be a good guy to these people for some reason? Then you start that story with, I like to think I have a heart of gold, and then you're shitting all over this guy like every small minutia of it.
Dude, he's taking so fucking long.
And then not saying it.
And then he's folding my long underwear. Folding it, right? So he clears off the flat space, and then he carefully wraps it, folds it in thirds, carefully puts it into a fucking plastic grocery bag, like it stays folded. There's any reason for this. and then he does the top, same sort of deal. And I see the jeans coming up and the fucking water purifier tablets or whatever, and I'm like, dude, I'm looking to get out of here. Can you just put the underwear in a bag?
I'm looking to get
out of here. Jesus.
Dude, it's like 4 minutes. Each pair of underwear. The top is a minute, the bottom's a minute, the pants are a minute. How can this take so long? It took a minute to stamp
what he said. Excuse me, wage slave.
Attention, boy. Boy.
Did you snap at him? Get over here.
Dude, it was the worst. And he did speed up a little with the pants. And afterwards, he stopped putting on such a performance of working the cash register. But afterwards, I was like, oh, man, did I make it true? Did I make it true that I'm mean to wage slaves?
It's fine to be rude to them as long as there aren't witnesses.
Well,
that's how this works. That's how this works. It's just that now. Look, I fully admit that after our survival trip, when I was real hungry and went to that Longhorn Steakhouse, I was very rude to that dumb cunt who was serving us sweet tea. Okay, she needs a new fucking line of work's what I think. All right, you can't get me my drink in a time. Look, anyway, it's neither here nor there. I was rude.
This guy was like Flash from Zootopia working at the DMV. He was so goddamn slow.
You know the name?
I get that reference
of the sloth from Zootopia.
Yeah,
why?
I'm a genius.
Kids.
No, I'm gonna
go have kids, or you're a furry.
My story. I'll tell it the way I want to.
I'm rude to those people sometimes. Look, sometimes people need someone to be rude to them. When I was rude to that dumb cunt at the dentist the other day, and I take it back. I was not rude to her. All I said was like, just so you know, this isn't a dentist's office. You people clean teeth. There's no one back there, I didn't curse, that knows how to perform a root canal, even though I paid $250 just to make an appointment for emergency dentistry. You lured me back there and charged me another $250 for x-rays that I thought were gonna, so that you could perform the fucking
root canal.
And then you go, wow, you need a root canal, turns out. And I'm like, I booked the appointment and marked root canal. Like I wrote root canal on the thing. I know that. They're like, well, we should probably book someone that can do one. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Have you scheduled a root canal yet?
By the way, that's Tend Dentistry in Buckhead, Atlanta. T-E-N-D.
Oh no.
T-E-N-D. They robbed me of my monies. They did exactly what I just described. They clean teeth there. They cannot perform. I need an endodontist, apparently, and that's a rare fucking craft. It turns out that no one there can do. No, I have not booked another doctor because I am looking for an endodontist in my area because I'm not going to drive as far again to a fancy one like I did. It's in Buckhead. It's in a nice little place.
Can I do that? Have we done the beans and the girlfriend story?
We haven't. With bated breath, I await.
Yes,
I promise you. Beans. I think it's gonna exceed your expectations.
Okay, no, I don't have low expectations. I'm very.
Oh well,
curious.
I take it back then. Now it won't. All right, so here it is. Today I fucked up by demanding that my girlfriend show me where she buried the beans in the woods. All right.
Oh, God.
I admit I posted a version of this relationship
in the relationship subreddit the other day, but they closed it with no explanation, yada, yada, yada. With all that going on, all right, I'm sorry, let me start over. I assume because they decided it was fake. I can see how they might think that, but this is true. This is a thing that happened and is happening, and now there's more to it. I actually got broken up with it. With all that going on,
I know I'm interrupting this on purpose. Every time someone starts a story that way, that's how I know it's true. Yes,
with all that going on, we had stocked up on supplies, including some canned goods. I ordered a few weeks ago and 30 cans of beans. 10 black beans, 10 kidney beans, and 10 are pink beans. I also ordered 15 cans of chickpeas. I thought this would be a reasonable amount of beans and chickpeas to have every now and then. It would last for some time. This is 3 months ago. Is coronavirus stocking up?
Okay.
However, earlier this week, I opened the cabinet because I wanted to make a vegetarian chili using 2 cans of beans. All of the beans were gone. What the hell? So I asked my girlfriend, and she told me she buried all of the beans in the woods. At first, I thought she was joking, but she explained no. She had buried these beans in the woods. What the fuck? I asked her to explain, and she told me that she was afraid that if things get bad, we might have to worry about looters or whatever, and that the beans would be in danger of being stolen. I thought that was completely ridiculous and unlikely, and she got angry at me and said she's protecting our beans. According to her logic, the beans are safely buried in the woods behind our apartment complex, and if we ever need to get some beans, we'll go to the stash, dig up a can or two, but I'd prefer it if we could save them, just in case things get worse. I said, why only bury the beans? Why not bury our more valuable items? She said the canned food was our most valuable item for long-term means, and that since we have fresh food and online grocery deliveries, it would make sense to continue to stockpile more beans. She intends to go bury more beans in the woods every week. This was too insane for me, and I got really upset. I demanded that we go to where the beans are buried, and she refused to tell me. She said that if I knew, she was afraid I would dig up the beans. And I said, damn right I would dig up the beans. And she said, I will never jeopardize the beans. So the following day, I tried to put my foot down. I'm not usually a foot downer, but there are rare issues where compromise is out of the question, and I foolishly decided that this was one of those issues. I demanded to know where the beans were buried, and I told her that if she was going to bury the beans I paid for in the woods, that I would move out. We fought about it, and I kept insisting. In hindsight, I should have just let it go and created my own hidden stash of beans in the apartment and given her time to cool down about this bean buying scenario. But I blew it all out of proportion. And it's weird to bury the beans in the woods, but why do I have to press it? What's the harm at the end of the day? In the grand scheme of things, but I kept demanding her to take me to the beans, or at least draw a map or something.
Take me to the beans.
Finally, she broke up with me over the beans. I've lost the love of my life because I couldn't let the damn beans go. I am in disbelief. She has moved out. Now, I am not only heartbroken, but I'm now paying full rent instead of 50%, which is a huge
and you're
financial
fresh out of beans.
Too long, didn't read. I kept demanding that my girlfriend showed me where she buried the beans in the woods, and she got so angry at me, she ended our relationship and moved out. My heart is shattered, and my finances are jeopardized because of a bean hoard.
No. Fuck that bean whore. Fuck that bean burying bitch. All right? This is nonsense. Women have no concept of what fucking society falling apart is. There's gonna be so much rape. It always comes back to rape. Those beans are not gonna be what they're looking for. You're gonna wish that you had left the beans in the house.
They're gonna be looking for your bean.
Yeah, they're gonna be. So you're gonna wish that there were more beans in the house so they'd have something to do other than rape
something
you
else
more.
To flick.
That's what they're going to be flicking is your beans, bitch. And your husband's going to be dead in the gutter with an empty stomach because you buried the beans.
And you know what she definitely didn't do? She definitely didn't bury the beans in the correct way. She definitely just threw cans of beans in the ground and threw dirt on top of it. And it's like, bitch, those beans are going to be ruined so fast that dirt's going to eat right through them. Come on. Be smart.
6 months.
Be smart when you bury your beans.
Those beans were already ruined if this was the beginning of quarantine. Already ruined. The labels have peeled right off. You don't know what kind of beans you're getting.
Dude, if I came home one day, any day, and my girlfriend had hidden a huge amount of food in the woods, that would be an immediate problem. It wouldn't
Huge
be
red
a,
flag.
we're going to see how this plays out.
Nope.
It would be a, what the fuck are you doing burying beans in the woods, you retard?
We go back to
what?
Go back to Kyle's complaint that you won't know what beans they are in case you're making your post-apocalyptic chili. And
he's unearthing a can and he's like, is this it? No. It's already full up on Pinto. Fuck.
There's a follow-up to this story. There's a subreddit that I had never heard of called R Metal Detecting, where they got all enthusiastic and they're like, dude, I'll help you find those beans. No, I'll help you find these beans. And these metal detector enthusiasts offered to help him find his beans, which I think is great.
I need an update. Did they find the goddamn beans?
I don't know.
How many maybe I missed it because as the story got better and better, I was like, wait, what? I really got tuned in.
30 cans of beans.
Holy shit!
45 cans if you include the chickpeas.
That's so many beans.
I don't know. How big is a can of beans? I'm picturing like tuna fish.
Dude, this bitch can go fuck herself.
No,
that's so many beans
like,
to go
a can
hide.
of beans is this big. You know, it's like a soda can.
Okay.
Yeah, but 49 of those?
45.
What I'm saying is 40 or 50 cans of beans is a huge amount of beans.
Of course. And she stole them for herself.
Look, I'm so
weirdest
petty.
thing.
I'm so petty, and I get so
you want it for yourself, Bilbo Baggins.
I'll tell you what I would have done, and I'm not even kidding. I would have called the law. I would have called the fucking police, and I would have told them. First, I get some evidence, right? I text message her, hey, about those beans that you took out of the cabinet and hid. I paid for those. Can we at least both agree upon that? She's like, well, yeah, you paid for them. Okay. I feel like I should know where they are. Will you tell me right now where the beans are? No, I can't do that. I'm setting her up. I'm setting her up. This is a bean sting. All right. Then I call Johnny Law. All right. And when he shows up, I show him the text messages from the Bean Bandit. And one of two things is going to happen. Either she's going to lead us to the burial site of said beans, or she's going to jail.
Or third option, the cops will laugh at you and possibly shoot you for doing that.
I'm white, okay?
It's just laugh.
But what if they also had a loved one steal their beans? You haven't considered that.
Oh, they could be being sympathetic.
We've seen this before, sir.
I've called the
Just
cops.
step
I called
outside.
the cops
We'll take it from here.
when shit was stolen off my porch and I had the person's face on video. I called the cops and they were like, "We don't care. Not gonna 45 cans of beans. I don't give a fuck."
I mean, that's a very cheap thing, but think about the future.
Yeah,
what I was thinking that you were going to say, Woody, is that this chick was going to try and plant cooked beans.
That's funny too.
In the woods, and that would have been infuriating.
Like the whole can? Like she's not even bothering to open the can. No, she's just putting the can in the ground, thinking a whole like a
Life
tree that's
finds
gonna
a way, and then cans of beans come off the trees.
Kyle,
reach up
Kyle,
and
the
pluck
thing
them off
is,
like apples.
If you open up the can and you plant it, you get beans. But if you plant the entire can, you get a canned tree. No, it's much more efficient.
An enormous can comes out of the ground.
An enormous can with canned branches that then later have cans of beans coming down from them.
Science.
So it's actually much smarter.
Yeah, Kyle, what are you, science tonight?
I hate that woman. I hate anyone that's that stupid, regardless of their sex. And he's better off because look, if she was planting beans today, God knows what she's gonna be doing in a few years. One of the dumbest things my mom ever did. And we almost left her right then. I'm kidding. But I remember when 9/11 happened, she put a bunch of gallons of water in the basement, and I was down there. Like that's where Dad and I's like reloading bench was, where we reloaded ammunition and did that stuff. And I noticed there was like 8 gallons of water over under the stairs that lead down to the basement. And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I don't know. That's weird, huh?" I was like, we get wake upstairs. Mom, there's a bunch of gallons of water downstairs. What's that about? She's like, in case the terrorist attack. And I'm like, describe
Well,
this
8 gallons ought to do us through. Yeah.
I'm like, describe this hypothetical attack. And keep in mind, I'm 18 at the time? No, I'm like 16 at the time. I'm like, describe this hypothetical attack in which we really need 8 gallons of water to survive. Well, I guess they attacked the tiny town of Livonia, Georgia, and population 8,000.
First the chicken farms. No, first the Twin Towers, then the chicken farms.
Then the chicken farms. They're
First
coming right for
Livonia,
us.
Georgia, then New York.
And I was like, okay. Well, let's just say that happens. That they organize, that they hijack more planes and crash more jetliners into our small town. How does that take our water away that we already have? She's like, well, I was like, because we have a well. You know this. We have a well.
In a generator.
With enormous amounts
Crash
of water.
into the well.
How many beans had she purchased?
She said, maybe the water gets poisoned. And I'm like, well, they're poisoning wells now? Because they're really bringing it to the little guy. If they're just like stumbling around in the scariest place in the world for a man in a fucking turban, by the way, the deep south of the United States, walking through the woods, I guess, looking for rural areas that live on wells, and then poisoning the wells one at a time with, I don't know, a bucket of battery acid. Like,
no, listen, Ahmed, it is so retarded they will never suspect.
I felt retarded with my
own plan. It is the
own
worst
plan.
tactical plan. They will never defend against the worst possible option. We will attack Georgia towns of population. I don't know what accent it is now, but it's clearly something different. But we will go after Georgia towns of population 10,000 or lower.
Tell me if I
We will steal their beans.
Well, in fairness, if they did that, people would be fucking terrified. Like, if you're trying to scare a population, you go after a small town, because every small town will think that they're next.
Whatever happened to that arsenic or cyanide post office scare? Did they catch him? That guy just get away with that?
When was this that you're talking about?
Right after 9/11. The next thing that happened.
That was anthrax, and yeah, they caught that guy. I want to say that guy was an Elvis impersonator.
Are you serious?
I want to know more about this.
See if I'm right. Here's your Google search. Here's your Google search. Elvis impersonator, anthrax, 9/11.
Hey, baby, I'm just trying to fucking murder someone at the post office.
He had a manifesto. It said, I'm doing this, 1, for the money, 2, for the show.
3 to get ready.
With me on this?
No, I get it. I'm there with you, Steve.
Go.
God damn it. That was way better than you gave it credit for.
I tried to help you out. It was way better.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So after the first earthquake that I went through with my ex in LA, and she had never been through one before, so she kind of freaked out, and she wanted us to have like an earthquake survival kit with us, like one at home and one in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the standard stuff of like, matches, a can opener, like just a couple things like that. Even that, I thought, this is a little much. She had buried beans. Over. Divorce. And we weren't dating. We were married. Divorced right then. She had buried 45 cans of beans, because that is such a detachment from reality. I get that every one of us was very scared the society was going to break down at the beginning of this virus. And people were, when you get to the grocery store and there's nothing on the shelves, that's a very scary thing to see. And I get that. The idea of if you're in it a couple of weeks and they've restocked by then, and you can suddenly order all the cans of beans you want on Amazon, that's when you maybe go get the shovel.
Yeah.
And unbury the beans.
Unearth
and be like,
your beans.
I overreacted.
Look, you don't ever bury the beans, because you've got.
You know what I guarantee is? I guarantee that bitch forgot where she buried all the beans.
I think maybe
she did not make a map. 0%.
An asshole, or who is the asshole type thing. I know Merca loves these, but this one's a little different because it's in video form. So I'm going to show you 2 videos. The first one is what this gentleman was filming with his drone, and the second one is going to be what happened during the filming. So here's the first one. Oh, wait.
People are going to be so happy that I'm doing watch together. Create your room. I tested this offline and got the idea.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. Well, this could revolutionize.
Well, it just doesn't
this
work
entire
for
show.
live
Shit.
leak and others.
Sorry about
other
that.
video sites.
So now, hold on. I'm just trying to. Well, fuck. I'm sorry. I need to change the video. I need to invite. All right, invite friends.
Is this through Skype that we'll be getting
Well,
invites?
it'll just be a link.
I'm going to
and
give you a
then
link.
Say
Here.
yes.
So you guys please come there. And now I need to change the video somehow.
God, it's taking forever to load this thing. There we go.
None. I can't possibly have to let this whole freaking thing play. How do I change? Someone out here knows how to do this. Oh, here it is. Oh, shucks. Hang in there. I've got this all figured out. I just need to do it now. There we are. Are you guys all here? Holy noise! So here's what the guy was trying to film. Oh, shit. PKA big screen.
This shot of the boardwalk is what he's trying to film.
Yes, that was what he was doing. Whatever. People need stock footage and stuff. It's a business. So that's a thing.
Oh, that was an ad.
Yeah, right. Here, are you guys turning the volume? I can't get my volume low enough in this thing.
I turned mine all the way down.
I turned mine 100% down because it was getting I was getting a lot of feedback.
It was crazy. Okay, so anyway, here is what happened during the filming.
So there's a drone going around Pacific Beach, San Diego, looking at a pier.
There's some fishermen looking at the drone. The guy's frantically pulling up his line. Motherfucker's spotting it. Sniped it.
No.
Yeah, he caught the drone with his fishing line, and you can see it's hooked onto it.
What an asshole.
Let me see you get reeled in. Come on.
You're going to be disappointed. It's just a bunch of replays of the catch. But
Wow.
yeah.
What an ass.
That's he can't even be that big of an ass. That's impressive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those things are expensive. That's not cool.
Sorry, I think I made it pause when I tried to go to full screen or something. Just wanted to be bigger. But yeah.
Yeah,
This is like some spaghetti western music, right? I feel like it should be cutting back and forth between Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef.
For audio listeners, what happened was the guy frantically reeled up his fishing rod, flung it at the drone, and caught it with his hook in midair. And then now it's just showing some footage of him trying to untangle the fishing line from the propeller.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a douche thing to do, but it's also really funny that he was able to catch a drone like that.
Now, is it a douche thing to do to fly a drone over a bunch of people fishing?
No.
That's lower on the douche meter.
On the
than
beach there, I
actively
feel
It's
like-
not even douchey. Like that's public property. Like how
It is,
that
but there's
at
a
all
different.
douchey?
There's a different.
It's like if
feeling
somebody
to that.
ran by with a video camera and did this. Like, would you call that guy an asshole?
Maybe
No,
a little.
there's a distinctly different feeling than someone holding a camera up where there's a face associated with it. You see who's recording you. You know what's going on. Than there is where you just see some nameless, faceless drone. You don't know the intentions of it. You don't know what it's looking for.
Well, it's the pier where they're fishing. It's not like it's hovering over apartment houses and there's a guy masturbating remotely somewhere. It's the fucking dock.
Don't judge
No.
me. So
Hey, whatever you're into.
Yeah,
bro.
my
Get off
hobbies are
fishing.
my hobbies. And what if it was a
I'm
beach?
just saying there's a stigma.
What if it was a beach and there were, men and women sunbathing on the beach and there was a drone flying around? It's a public place. There's no expectation of privacy, but still.
Yeah, I agree with Woody there. Like, there's no expectation of privacy insofar as, the people can film you.
That
But
guy
it
should
is
get arrested.
creepy to
That guy
go
should be
around.
arrested. Totally.
Which guy?
Which guy?
The guy who knocked the drone down.
He attacked property.
Yeah.
I think a
so.
bigger asshole is someone who flies like a biplane over the beach and you've got noise pollution going on.
Did you guys all leave the room?
Yeah.
Oh, you could potentially leave it up and we'll use it again.
Oh, I'll go back.
But it's
Oh,
not a big
yeah,
deal.
I can go back.
Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Not an asshole.
Not an asshole. So wait, you say not an asshole fisherman?
No, the fisherman's an asshole.
I think that's unanimous.
Yeah.
I have a thing against fishermen.
Drone
I'm
guy's
totally. When I used to, for people
Explain this.
All of them.
Your thing against fishermen. All of them.
Yeah, fucking fishermen. So I grew up.
Tied up in their hooks while surfing or something.
I grew up off 14th Street in Ocean City, and at the end of 14th Street, there's a fishing pier. Something about piers in the water caused the sand to like build up, and that makes the waves break off the pier particularly nicely. Like it's just better. And also, as a surfer, like you get to know the beach and where the waves break. And the fishing pier just like it really lets you know how far out you are. You can like visually get back to the same spot that just worked for you in a way that's more difficult if it's just like a straight beach without references. So surfers fish next to the pier. That's a thing. The fishermen hate it. They're always like yelling at the surfers, like picking on the surfers. They would cast their lines at us and try and hit us. And sometimes successfully hit us. I had a friend who used to surf with wire cutters, just little pliers, and cut their lines and shit. And they didn't even have to hit him. Like if they're casting at him, he'd go over to it, cut the line. Fuck you. You know, like those things have sinkers on them. Like that would hurt. And
hooks.
Yeah.
What if he hooks you out there?
Sharp part.
Right? Like it's a problem.
He could drown you out there if he hooks you right and you get tangled in that line.
And I didn't think of myself as like a defenseless child at the time, but I was between like 12 and 18 when most of this happened. You know, they're casting at fucking like 13-year-olds. Like, fucker out there surfing right here in my ocean. Fuck you. God, that's not a cool thing.
That's true.
You hate
That's
all
true.
fishermen. Didn't I recall you just giving a story a couple PKAs ago where you ran a jet ski so hard it ran out of gas and a nice old fisherman saved you and brought you back to shore?
That was a boater.
I recall the words
who
fisherman
happened
being
to
thrown
have
around.
fish. You know?
I don't know if he was a fisherman or not. I may have called him that.
There was a pole in the boat. He was a fisherman.
I don't remember. It was eons ago. He may have been a fisherman, but
to be fair, a lot of surfers are assholes as well.
They're
very
true.
rude to the other. I feel like it was fishermen are asshole to the surfers. Surfers are assholes to everyone else on the beach. Everyone else. This is my wave, bro.
Dude,
Fuck you.
as
don't
I
own the
got
ocean either.
older, I made it a point of like striking back and stuff. One thing we used to do a lot was jump off the fishing pier. So the fishing pier was an exclusive club. You know, you had to like pay rent or monthly dues or something to get on it. And there's barbed wire like coming off the fishing pier to like stop you from climbing it and getting on. But the barbed wire wasn't done well enough to keep me out. So I would routinely just fucking like get on the fishing pier, start running. And they knew I didn't belong, and they'd be like, get him, and I'll just book it down the fishing pier. like you fuckers are 75 years old. You're not getting shit. And then when I got to the end of the pier, like I'm trapped, but I'm not trapped because this is when I jump off the pier and swim away. And I used to do that like as a hobby. Like I would do it just to like I don't know, friends I didn't see them. I like want to see me jump off that fucking pier, and I would run.
Yeah, why? I wonder why the fisherman didn't like you.
You're right. It's a curious thing, but that
I can understand why the fisherman didn't like the surfers if you were being all rambunctious, running around, stomping, sending vibrations into the water, scaring the fish, whatever it is. And also, like from their perspective, because I've never been a huge fisherman, I've never surfed. But from their perspective, it's like we have this one area to fish out in the water. You have as far as the eye can see. You have the whole ocean. Go 600 yards down that way, and if that's not good enough, go another 500 yards. Go half a mile past that. You know what it is? It's still fucking ocean. Like you have all that space, and you're cutting our wires and fucking with us. Granted, it's mean to throw things at you and try and catch you like you're a piece of meat, but I can understand why they were
aggravated. This is like
aggravated.
a lions and hyenas thing, right? Like it's just natural enemies, mortal enemies, whatever it's called. And like as in my personal journey on this thing,
I started as just an innocent child who got cast at and picked on until eventually I evolved into an older child who could strike back to some extent. But to them, I was probably just like a future punk, which I guess wasn't too far
Well,
off.
I mean,
it's a current punk.
It happened as you ran on the pier.
But it's like a terrorist, man. Like you kill someone, now that child's father has been murdered and he becomes a terrorist, right? So in my head, like their actions formed me. Like they created the terrorist I became.
That's true. That's a good way to
But
rationalize
there's such a
poor
simple
decisions.
solution to this, though.
Wait, what? I'm sorry?
It's such a simple solution, though. Taylor was thinking exactly what I was thinking. Like, you have a little tiny dock here, that or getting a fucking boat if you're a fisherman. And the surfers have the entire beachfront to go wherever they want.
Yeah, and if it really is a matter
And
of
if you
like,
needed
oh,
to keep an eye distance, I'm this far out, you can still see the fishing dock.
Well, I have
here
two
where you
counters for
go
that.
from.
One,
Okay.
I lived there. Like that was in my head, like my beach. This is my local beach. When I exit like my door, walk 2 blocks, this is my beach.
I'm
For
sure
you to
they
say
do, too.
no, they don't. They come from all over. They've got one fucking spot. Like to me, you live miles from here. This
Okay.
is my beach.
They're
Like,
literally paying money to access the dock, though. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
if they
which
live there
made
or
like
not.
fucking
The
bring
money
it-
that you use for all your elaborate elective classes over there at school.
In my head, it was like, oh, exclusive club. Do you have any Grey Poupon? You fucking 75-year-old bitch. So, yeah. Well, there's a lot of hate in there. So,
I couldn't tell.
And the other thing, like I was saying earlier, this beach with the pier on it was a better surfing place than like not all beaches are created equal. Like a lot of beaches you just would never surf on. They suck. But because of the pier, the waves would break in a better way. So
you shouldn't surf on any beach. There are sharks in there, and it's irresponsible. No, but I can understand both sides there, except for it's my beach. Like that's kind of silly. Like when you said they come from all
That's
over.
like when people come
I
out
thought
of
you meant,
town
like
and surf
No,
too.
well,
That's
yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
things when people come from out of town to surf at your beach, and there's a rivalry now. The hometown surfers versus the out of town surfers. That shit happens all the time, and it's absurd.
it is super common, and
It's like a giant pissing
I see
match.
all
No,
sides
don't
of it.
this.
But the it's my beach stemmed from like, hey, you could go anywhere, and it's like, well, I should be able to surf in my backyard. Like, you can't take it from me. This is like everyone has like like a home court, and this was mine.
That's true, but it sounds like they were trying to share it with you.
By
Aside from the
casting
whole,
at me, that's how my relationship with them started. I'm just out there surfing, like not knowing anything, and they're going at me. And there were signs that said "Stay this far away," and I would.
They
At first,
casted the first cast.
They did. They'd cast, even though I'm like, I'd point to them like, there was that big piling in the sand that showed you like marked how far away you're supposed to be. It's like I'm past the piling, and they're still casting at me. And then, at which point, like, if you don't respect the piling, neither do I. Until it got to the point where I'd shoot the pier, I'd surf right through it. Fuck them.
I think both parties are at fault. I'm gonna give extra asshole points to the fisherman though, because I don't care how old you are, you could poke somebody's fucking eye out with a goddamn lure.
Also,
that's true, and you work for Woody, so that's a safe side to take.
Oh, I was arguing
No, he
hard
wouldn't
against
do
it.
that.
I think both parties are wrong.
But the other side of it is like the surfers are usually kids. Like I feel like this is adults picking on children.
That is
Nothing
true.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Character.
If
It's
it
hard
was
to pick on
free,
other adults.
they're paying, so like be an asshole you want.
I want Kyle's perspective on this. Who is, you can.
I think they're all assholes because they're like enjoying themselves at a beach, and that's like people don't belong at the beach. There's salt water and sand. What about the beach screams? Oh, people should be here. Like, no, nothing. Nothing
people
about the beach.
Just
There's
like
food
that.
there.
I don't care. Because people bring the food there. People
No,
bring
they're talking
food
about
there.
fish.
That's a good.
No, there's carts.
It's a source of food, the ocean.
vending. Oh well, that's a dumb argument.
Yeah, you eat any of that New Jersey fish?
He
you'll
asked,
be
what about the beach
growing
screams
another
people
Yeah,
should
but
be
most
there?
aren't going to the beach for their fucking food of the day, though. Like
No,
to
no,
go into
but
the
I'm-
ocean and get food.
I was talking about more of like a natural state of things. Like, what about
like
the
early
beach?
man.
Yeah, early man. Like I bet a lot of early people who were near the beach use the
Yeah,
beach as a
if
food source.
it's 2015 though, if you're going to the beach, you're an asshole. There's nothing there for us. There's nothing there for us. All those silly beach sports are dumb. The idea of beach volleyball, like, first of all, I think those chicks are super hot, and I like watching women's beach volleyball.
I was going to say
but the whole
bikinis
idea-
and cocoa butter. You don't like the beach?
Well, there's no problem with beach volleyball. That's an actual sport because you're directly competing. Like surfing and stuff like that. That's an activity. It's not a sport.
All
I don't
those
think
things.
people call
The
it
salt. I hate the salt water. I hate the sand. There's more sun there because it's reflecting off the sun. Sand, like we talked about the other day. No, it's a. I'd rather be in the fucking desert. They're equal to me. The ocean, the beach, and the desert. Like both of them are the same. I have no interest.
Vastly different.
No, I mean, as far as like some enjoyment that I'm gonna have there, like when always people often invite me to beaches. They're like, "Oh, we're going to Florida. We're going to Panama. We're going here or there." I'm just like, "Fuck no! I'd rather go to Akron, Ohio." Absolutely not. Like, no, I don't like the beach. I hate the beach. I really, really do.
Nobody wants to go.
What happened to you at the beach?
Nothing. I just never had
like
a pleasant.
and stuff.
I mean, I've been. Yeah, I hate the salt water. I really do. It burns my
I'm
eyes.
not a big fan of the beach either. Like if it was like beach or we go to Tahoe or something, I'm gonna pick Tahoe.
I feel
But
like
don't-
everybody
I'm
else
not
is
gonna
just
go,
dealing.
Fuck you. Fuck the beach. I don't have that kind of stance on the matter.
I feel like everybody else must be just pretending like they're not itchy as fuck every time they step out of the salt water. Like when I step out of salt water and I dry, I'm immediately like it like the salt's all over me. I can feel it. I'm itchy everywhere.
Yeah, I get that
like,
too.
I hate it.
We had an outdoor shower.
Fuck that.
We just rinse off. You wouldn't want
Sure,
to be,
yeah.
unless you're like going in and out of the water. You probably want to rinse off. But I'm more about. See, the beach isn't my cup of tea. The ocean is. Like the beach activities don't really interest me. Water activities do. I never spent much time on the sand, unless I was working. But the
Beach ain't that cool. Ocean ain't that cool. Right there where they meet, there you can wade in, do a little body surfing. That's a good spot right there. The risk of being dragged out is very minimal. Shark attacks on the lower side of things, and I can still play in the sand. So,
I
there.
can see that, I suppose, although I have no interest in those activities because once again, you're in that salt water, which is poisonous to us. You're out there in that poison water. But the people who sit on the beach, like on like a towel or in a chair, just tanning out there, that's another group of people. They can go with the Hawaiians. They just, all of us. I don't get it. Like, what the fuck are you doing out there?
if you can still touch the sand, keep going. That's my opinion on the beach. The good shit is further out.
I hate it. Every now and then they talk about global warming by this year. They show the water levels rising. And I'm like, that ought to kill all the worst people in the world. All right, now we're talking.
Yeah, they're not going to move.
You kill if we could wipe out all those beachgoers by raising the sea levels 15 feet or something like that. Good. I'll spray. Give me some more aerosol cans. I'll drive an F-250.
Yeah. Just spraying hairspray out for no reason. All right. Am I the asshole because this woman's daughter pissed on her? I was at the movie theater and needed to use the restroom. I went into the family restroom since I feel more comfortable using it than the women's or men's restroom, and I was in there for 5 minutes tops. When I came out, there's a woman standing at the door, calling me an asshole for using the family room when I don't have any kids. Apparently, her toddler daughter wasn't well potty trained and had a few minute window of time to use the toilet, and ended up peeing through her mom's shirt because I was in there. I walked off, but then after using the bathroom, she found me in the concessions line and decided to call me an ass again. I told her it was her own decision that led to this and not mine, and she told me, "Fuck you," and walked off. Am I the asshole for using the family restroom?
Well,
yes.
I'll answer this real quick. Yes, but I too would be doing that. So I'm an asshole.
No. No.
Do
You
use
don't
the handicap stall ever? Those are for handicapped people.
I have my own demons. I mean,
That's such a great answer.
We all have our cross to bear, but
Yeah.
I think the crux of this is that some.
your spine's not connected.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
The
I have
biggest
problems
thing-
too. I have bad days.
That's true.
I don't have bad
Yeah,
legs. I have bad moods sometimes, and I think
I
that's
just
one
have a
of-
wide stance, and I don't want anyone thinking I'm gay. All right, I'm not a closet
Okay,
homosexual.
first of
I'm
all,
a dirty
is-
ethnic.
Is this guy said, I saw 2 red flags. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but he said it was 5 minutes tops, which you wouldn't include the word tops unless you were trying to make it seem like less than it was. Either you went in there and you selfishly took the longest piss in history, or you went in there and took a shit that you are wildly underestimating the length of. Because it's 2015 and you had your phone out, you stupid fuck. Also, the family restroom isn't there for you to feel more comfortable as you take a shit, you pansy. You need to be pandered to at every juncture of your life. You can't just go shit in the women's or men's room. Why did he or she feel the need to go in there? Like, it's not for you to have your own little private time. It's for moms and dads to not get peed on by their kids who have to go. And I'm sure Woody
Asshole.
understands it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
thinking about it now. When I first heard this, I thought the family restroom was just a really big stall. But now that I've heard it again,
No, it's
it goes.
there's
men's,
one door.
women's,
Yeah.
family.
It's
Yeah.
a private bathroom.
Yeah, I would not do that. No, and that guy's.
Yeah.
So I already said that. Yeah.
I
All
will
right, so that
say,
guy was definitely
totally
an
an asshole. The only I would pretty much never use a family restroom. I was gonna say that when I use handicap stalls, if I like today I was at Chili's and I saw the handicap stall and I saw the smaller one, I picked the smaller one. There was one of each. But if there's multiple handicap stalls and none are taken, or if it's a work environment and I feel like I know everybody who uses this bathroom, I'll use the handicap stall in that situation too.
That's true. There's a few times that you can use the handicapped. Like if they're both open and they're both of comparable cleanliness, take the smaller one just in case, because you never know. If it looks like somebody dropped like Nagasaki in the small one, then I'm not about to jump in front of this bullet for this
if someone's
hypothetical
going to
team
judge
member.
you, is that if you never know someone's going to judge you for using the handicap stall? No, you use the handicap stall when it's open.
If I'm actually going to take a
'cause
shit in a public restroom,
There
then
might be someone
there's-
who needs it.
I've never. I'm going to say this. Let me think. I don't think I've ever encountered a handicapped person in a bathroom.
I think you could say that
So-
about
I
a
haven't
parking
either.
spot too.
Yeah, I don't think they go.
Yeah, but there's a fine with the parking spot. though. Is
That's
that a
your
fine?
disincentive. It's
Totally.
just the fine.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just
You
like
need
the
to poop
pregnant
police.
lady parking section, which they don't have those here. I've only seen those in Texas.
Well, we
But-
have them here. They tend to be in grocery stores, and I
Yeah.
think they're fabulous. I think they're
Yeah.
great. I was on the
Harder to prove than the handicapped one too.
if you're pregnant and no one can tell yet, then I don't begrudge you being excited about your potential baby, but I think you shouldn't be using it. Unless you're having like rough morning sickness or something. But if you're very pregnant, Jackie was pretty much handicapped at that point. She couldn't tie her own shoes. She was waddling. She was like, it was hard at the end of her pregnancy. And those like premier parking is warranted. So,
Nah, man. Like,
Well,
if
I'm not
gonna
a great
take-
person. I'll tell you right now that if there wasn't a fine with the handicap parking, there's just so many. I would totally park there and try to get away with it.
I do feel like whatever ratios the city sets or something is just off, especially
Totally.
when you get a big parking lot. Like, yeah, like I feel like you could go to my local Target and host the Special Olympics there because there's just spot after like as far as the eye can see, and that's not necessary.
Hey, is this coming back for anyone else?
I think that's the Paralympics
No.
you're thinking now.
You want to reset
Right?
the call, Woody?
Yeah, the Paralympics.
Wait,
Yeah.
Not the Special
Here,
Olympics.
it's worked.
Yeah, you go to Walmart for that.
Oh, Kyle, you scamp. So everybody unanimously agreed that guy
Yes.
or girl was an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Not feeling, I can't get over, I don't feel comfortable in
Yeah.
the men's or the women's room.
That's just
It's like, just go
Well, that's
shit.
an interesting thing. Is this person a transsexual then? That would make
We
sense.
can't start just making assumptions.
Well, we also
And
have to
even-
make
even
the assumption
so-
that shit or piss too.
Yeah, even so, don't take the family restroom.
There's
Someone
no way they
might get
peed for
peed
5 minutes.
might have their evening
No.
next.
They dropped a bomb
Okay.
in that shit. That place reeked. All right, carry on.
So second one, I'll let either Kyle, Chiz, or Woody, and be careful because these are rife with errors.
Oh, a little background to start. I live in an area where it's very common to not have your dog on a leash, especially so if said dog is well trained. My dog is not only well trained, but also very old. She's 15 and moves as fast as a turtle. So naturally, I don't want nor need to put her on a leash. Now, I was walking my old slow dog down the street when we began approaching another person with a dog not on a leash as well. This dog was a Doberman, about twice as big as my retriever. And as we were walking, the Doberman begins barking and running at me and my dog, its owner having no control over it. At this point, I begin getting concerned. As the dog gets closer, he does not slow and jumps on my dog. My dog, in response, begins stumbling away down the nearest driveway, obviously hurt, and yet the Doberman continues his assault. Eventually, the lady who owned the Doberman strolled into the scene. As she opens her mouth, I expect some sort of an apology, but all she said is, you should probably get a leash for your dog. in an extremely bitchy tone. At that time, I was appalled because neither dog was on a leash, and it seemed completely her fault. So I just kind of left without saying anything. However, I looked back on the situation a few days later and realized if I could have been avoided if I had had my dog on a leash. Only the lady did have a leash with her, and my dog did bark at the other dog when he began barking at her. I really don't know who's to blame. You're both assholes. You put a leash on your dog for reasons like this. It's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
And this person's also a liar. He said that his dog is 15 and half the size of a young Doberman. And he phrases it was like, the Doberman jumped on it and then it dragged it away and the assault continued. Where it's like, no, if that Doberman was assaulting, mauling your dog and it's 15, it's dead in 15 seconds. Like Dobermans, they're vicious dogs. They're animals at the end of the day. Like it would beat the shit, kill that dog quick. Like, and I refuse to believe that this other lady walked up and just nonchalantly said, you should put a leash on your dog if there was doggy blood all over the goddamn place. And her dog just like with a, blood beard around it. But yeah, they're both wrong. 100%.
Yep. Dogs on leashes.
Nope.
Otherwise,
is Chiz even in here anymore?
What are you talking about?
Your video's not.
Oh, sorry. All the video went down for me.
I don't have any of your videos.
I don't either.
Can you call back?
This?
All right,
It's
let's
not
do that.
just
We'll
me,
restart
though.
it super quick. It is just you, but anyway.
All right.
Chiz is here.
There's Kyle.
Waiting on Taylor. Did you not click video, Taylor?
I'm here.
You didn't click video.
No, it's on.
It's behaving as if you didn't click video.
It's behaving.
I'll click it
You
off
didn't click
and on again.
That worked.
You need to do
Okay.
the same, Woody.
We can't see you, Woody.
Actually, I think it was my fault
Fixed.
all along. I think I did an audio call. I don't
And
know.
we're back.
We're
All
back.
right.
Yep.
They're
Awesome.
both
Let's go to the,
assholes.
so both
This
of
was
them
a
are
boring
assholes. Let's go to the third one.
Yeah. I would
Oh,
have preferred someone I could judge better.
who's reading? There's both Chiz and I available.
I'll do it.
Either one.
This is
But
a
whoever
short
doesn't
one.
read should go find their own that's good. We can
My
wrap.
I'll read.
My friend, let's call him Jack. I know a lot of Jacks. Wanted me to help make a sketch video. I was up for this until he told me the sketch. I hated the sketch. I thought it was unfunny and just plain awful. So I told him no. I'm not being part of this. Then we got into an argument and I left. Am I the asshole? This was one of your picks, Taylor.
I went for one that didn't have sex involved in it because it's damn near impossible on
This
that.
is 2 days
Every
old
single-
with 2 upvotes on it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not as versed in the Reddit sphere as you. I just clicked it and it wasn't about sex, so I picked it. You pick a better one. Find one that's not about like, so I was with my best friend's ex-girlfriend and we fucked, but we were both drunk. Am I an asshole? Like, every one of them is that. And
I'll give
every
you
one
that.
of them
It
says
is hard to
asshole.
find a legit one where it's like, well, where's the needle? It's like you
I got
just
one.
want more reinforcement.
So here, I like the title of this one. I'm just going to go in without knowing. So last night, I'm going through a drive-through for Cookout, which is an amazing restaurant, at like 2 a.m, and this guy walks up and asks if I can help jump his car. It's just down the road where his wife is waiting. Sure, if you've got jumper cables, I say. He does, and I let him hop in the passenger seat while I finish going through the drive-through. This sounds very
Whoa.
dangerous.
Yeah.
I ask if he smokes, and I hand him a cigarette when he says he does. He has told me his car is right. He's told me his car is right down the road, but as soon as we get down the said road, he tells me to turn down a different one. He then asks if I have a gas can. No. Why do we need a gas can? I thought you needed a jump. He then proceeds to tell me that the tow truck around the corner has a gas can, and that's what he really needs because he ran out of gas. At this point, I am thinking, what the fuck, man? Why would you lie about this shit? We're going we are going a different direction for a different thing you claim to need. So I very nonchalantly said, if you screw me over, I'll kill you. Because fuck it, man. People have died or been robbed doing nice things for other people before, and this is not going smoothly like it ought to. For some background, I have a giant ass beard and I don't appear super nice in the first place, though I am a nice guy in there somewhere. Needless to say, he just says, this is good, got out of my truck, and walked the opposite way he said he needed to go. Let's see. So either I saved my life or I'm an incredible asshole. I have no regrets, but judge me anyway.
Now, I feel like
Not
this
an
is an
asshole.
easy call again, but
I
I,
got
love the
mixed up
story.
in it. Can you tell how did he just spot that this was going wrong?
Okay, so he picks the guy up at the restaurant. The guy says that his wife is at his car. They need a jump start. It's just down the road. So they head down the road that the car is supposed to be on, and he tells him to turn down an additional road. And then he says, "Hey, that gas can over. That's what I really need. I need some gas." And so he's like, "Well, wait a minute. You said jump start. Now you need gas. This doesn't make any sense." And so then he just kind of calls the guy out on the weirdness.
He gave
of the
him an
situation.
ultimatum.
Huh.
He was like, "Look, if you screw me over, I'm going to kill you. Like, people have died helping people like I'm helping you right now, and this isn't going very smoothly."
I love this guy.
And then he got out and then walked the opposite way of where they were going.
I like this guy.
By the
a
way, this
lot.
guy, I like this guy. I think that's cool, but super fucking weird that he picked this dude up before and then went through the drive-through with him. Gave him this guy's really nice.
I guess it makes sense. I could see myself doing something like that.
I think I could see myself doing that.
No, I would
just
just fuck off.
I
and then
sometimes
drive
think
through.
this guy is who I think I am anyway. Maybe not big and scary, but like I do nice things for people. On the other hand, like I was doing my day in the life, I editing it today, and I'm like, someone could come rob me. But the truth of the matter is someone went to that stable and tried to take something, they could die. Like, no fucking joke. That they'll probably kill him.
Well, what if they had a gun on you?
They would need it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're in the stable. You're not near a gun.
They would need it.
Yeah. That's how it would go down.
If it was anything less than that, I agree with you 100%. But if a gun was pulled on you and you weren't near your carry, then
Oh no, we heard
Well, I
voices one
understand Chiz,
time,
though.
and I'm out there with the shotgun. Deadliest thing I got. Let's go.
Yeah, there's no way I would pick up someone like that. Take them through the drive-through with
Who the
me,
fuck? No.
and then
One, I'm
offer
not
like. But
picking up anyone. Period. So.
yeah, well, I mean, in the Democratic People's Republic of California, you'd have no line of defense. You'd have to read them your rights. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this
just
guy's
foolish.
he's not an
This
asshole.
guy's not
He's
an
a
asshole.
hero.
He's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
guy.
I have a.
Yeah, I agree.
I have one.
Can I tell a quick thing? Because
Yes.
this sounded eerily like a story my dad told me from his youth. So basically, he was driving from town toward his house after a day of work, and he stops and picks this guy up who says he wants a ride home, and it's along the way. And Dad says, "Okay, I'll drop you off. That's on my way." And so they're driving down the road, and they're going for a while. This guy's wasted in the passenger seat, and then he changes his mind. He says, "No. I want to go back to town." And my dad's like, "No, I don't have gasoline for that. I can't go back to town. You said we're going this way. We're going this way." He's like, "No, you turn this fucking car around. Take me back to town." And so dad was going pretty slow. They just had pulled out of a stop sign. So he reaches over and fish hooks him and like pulls him over and punches him, dazes him good enough that he can then open the door and just kick him out the side of the car while it's rolling along like 5 miles an hour, and just left him there on the side of the road.
Go Dad. Not an asshole.
Not an asshole.
No, not an asshole.
No.
Fish hook, very risky maneuver. That's
Yeah,
right.
with a drunk person. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, why not lead with the punch if he's drunk?
Yeah, why not lead with the punch instead of the
He's
hepatitis
right there.
claw?
So-
Well, I
You know
think
what
he's
I've got-
driving the car, and he needed to get him over here so he could start working on him.
Chael Sonnen talks about this.
Elbow.
He's like, when you look at any fighting style, find the stuff that's illegal, and that's the good shit, right? So in the UFC, fish hooks are illegal. They're just it's too easy to control your opponent's head. It's too easy to injure the guy. It's too easy to make what you want to happen with that fish hook. It's too effective, so they banned it. And so he's a wrestler, and he's like, so when I went from wrestling to MMA, I went straight to all the stuff you can't do in wrestling, like all the moves that are illegal and not good. That's the shit that I went to perfect on so that he could be successful in his MMA career. Fish hooking's illegal in the UFC. So, I mean, I'm not an expert on fish hooking or anything, but my first thought is, that's good. Well, fish hooking, punches to the balls, eye gouges. Like, these are the go-to.
But no one's possibly biting their opponent's fingers off in the UFC. That's the risk. This is a stranger in his car, and this guy just fish hooked him. He might
his
bite your
fingers
fingers
really
off.
are big. Like his are twice as big as mine. Like
Well,
I swear.
Taylor
they are.
said, this is some
they're still
dirty drunk
fingers.
guy. They're fingers.
There was a 48-inch fan blade that hit his finger one time full speed, and it just cut the skin off. It stopped at the bone. It was shot. I swear to God, it would have cut my finger off. It would have just lopped it off. It didn't make because like I've thrown chickens into those fans, and it just chops them the fuck up. And it's just like, how did he make it out of there? But in any case, I'll ask him tomorrow when I see
Throwing
him.
chickens into those fans.
You're just
Yeah.
gonna
Go ahead and
glaze
put
over
that
that.
one and a tally in the asshole column. Right next to the I blew up a chicken once, and we totally didn't talk about that at all. Apparently, chickens, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them.
They're delicious.
Well, you can't.
If Colonel Sanders is at the pearly gates, he's going to be like, Kyle, you come here with me.
Style point, my friend. Yeah. I think you did with that rotating exhaust fan. Oh, beautiful.
All right, I have one. It's only a title, so pay close attention. Am I the asshole for meeting a few friends at a bagel shop to find out that they were a couple people ahead of me in line and moving up to join them?
Yes.
No.
Yes, the proper
hate
way
that.
to do that. Here's the right way to do that. You text or you tell the person somehow so that the rest of the line doesn't know. Like, hey, could you get me like a blueberry scone and a venti latte with soy? Like, just give them your order, let them get it for you. But you can't physically walk up there. That's the way to do that. So yeah, you're an asshole. You can't cut line. I don't like people cutting line. I get really infuriated with line cutters. It seems like such a disrespectful thing to do to somebody. It's saying like, not only do
Exactly.
I have
I would never do it.
not only am I going to disregard like common courtesy and like the way shit works. Like we've all been standing in line since the time we were like infants. Like from the beginning of time, from childhood, we've been in lines. And everybody knows you don't cut in line. So when someone cuts in line, and I'm an adult, I don't take that well at all.
I'm excited that there's disagreement here because this is the first time ever I think there hasn't been a clear-cut case. And my answer is gray. Like, with him, I think he might be an asshole because he's joining his friends. But if it's a family reuniting, like maybe like I'm there with Colin and Jackie comes to join us, I'm okay.
That's okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
If you're in a group together and like one member just wasn't present, that's different.
He says,
but
meeting a few friends.
Friends is different than a nuclear
He
family.
met them, and they were in a good, and they had been standing in a line when he
Meeting
got
a few
there.
friends at a bagel shop. In my opinion, they had coordinated. Hey, let's meet at the bagel shop.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
Let me
that's
ask you
different,
this
though.
one. I'll
That's
ask this
different.
hypothetical. This is a different one then. So GameStop, I would wait in line for midnight releases for certain games.
Right.
Say it's me and a friend or whatever. We get there, we get our places, and the other friend wants to fuck off or whatever for the entire duration, and I wait and hold our places in line, and then the doors open. He comes back in the spot that I've been there holding the whole time. Is he an asshole?
That's a third
Yes.
scenario. That's a third scenario that's different than this. I think what you got to focus on here is that
So how do you differentiate the two? How do you know that, he could say, I'm saving this, my friend's been here, he'll be here any minute now as they're
Can't
in line
do
at
that.
the bagel shop.
you can't do that. So Woody described a scenario where he's there with his family. They're a pod. They're a group. They're a family. The reason that they were separated is because half of them went to one bathroom, half of them went to the other, and some of them came out at a different time. That's why when
We
they're
came
like,
in two cars, separation happened.
Well, now if
Well,
you
if they came in two cars, that's the same thing as the friends thing. You're meeting at a central location.
If you arrive at different times and one person has been waiting in line previous to the other person even arriving at the location, there's no way you can cut in front. There's no way. You can't be like, hey, sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. I'm just going to cut in front of these 6 people. These 6 people weren't 5 minutes late, and you're not part of his group, and he's not part of your group. You're just friends. So like, if you're with your date, of course your date can join you in the line. If you're with your wife and kids, any of them can join you in the line. But if I'm at the mall in line for the movies and Woody's meeting me there, but Woody's 10 minutes late, then I'm just going to buy Woody's ticket when I get up there because it's not going to work for Woody to like cut in line in front of all these people and hop up there with me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Not at Starbucks because that's a whole thing.
At a Starbucks or a bagel shop, like I can't. Maybe I'm a softy, but I can't think of a situation where I would keep a family apart. Where I'd be like, I'm sorry, Mom. You're gonna have to get to the back of the line. You can't be with husband and child.
Off some cash to give to the kids who are behind her in line so they can pay for it or something.
Yeah, right. Like I
do that.
I can't think of a situation in which I'd keep a family apart, whether it be
Yeah.
bagel shop line or roller coaster or whatever. I'd let them join up. Friends, like you said, I'm lined up with you there because like did you just keep separate? Meet after you could share a table, obviously, but you can't butt in line for that.
Yeah.
No line cutters.
I think after hashing through that, we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I don't know. I don't know that Kyle was as pro family as me.
I'm 100%.
No, family.
He totally
family's
said
fine.
if they come in separate cars and then join up, that they keep the family apart. He said that.
He was talking about friends
I'm
in
also
that circumstance.
my mindset is also
you and
stuck on
Colin
long
show up at
events too.
If you and Colin show up to the movies, you're in line at the concessions, right? You're getting some popcorn, and let's say there's 5 people behind you. I don't think Jackie should be able to join up with you if she's going to be ordering separate things on separate tickets. That's another thing. If the tickets aren't combined, that's a thing. If it's separate orders, you definitely can't pass ever under any scenario.
I let the families unite in almost every scenario, and make it a roller coaster. Let's say I'm 30 minutes in line, right? It's a Whopper.
The white families, I will let. Yeah.
Sorry, Chiz.
Well, they've only got 1 or 2 kids, right? They don't have 6
exactly.
Or 8
That's
coming with them,
I mean. A Latino family comes in there. They're not. No.
Yeah.
Back up, everybody. No.
Yeah,
no room for a soccer team.
Chiz has 6 children already. He doesn't know where they are. Who
cares?
Well, then that means they won't be in line with them. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the big lines though. That's from my. I don't think you should cut in small shit because the fucking process is so quick. Does it really matter? If I don't think you should be upset or give a shit either way. The line is gonna be quick.
No,
I'm thinking of like
gas
I'm waiting
station
for a
line
concert or stuff.
You cut in line with me at the gas station, I'll make a scene. I'll say, "Excuse me," and I'll say it loud enough so that everybody hears it, so that everybody then looks at you. Like I'll make a fucking scene. You cut in line. I don't like.
But if
that.
they're on the same ticket, what's it matter? Going back to your statement earlier about the 2 separate tickets.
2 separate tickets means they got to
Right,
run.
I get that. But if they're on the same ticket, what's it matter if they cut in line? The process is the same length.
I'm not going to go
No,
through
because then so and so comes up. Initial guy's like, "Oh, I'll have a black coffee and a bagel." Next person scoots in, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have that frappa cappuccino, and I'm gonna have the barbecue flatbread pizza." And then suddenly there's 2 employees doing things that wouldn't otherwise be doing them and able to get you your stuff to you faster. Unless it's like a family, but like imagine like a group of like 17-year-olds, and like another 17-year-old walks up and joins in. That's shitty. But if it's like a little kid walking up or a wife to a husband and a family, that's like, how can you not see the difference?
If you want to be in line with your family and friends, then just get there on fucking time. And hey, here's an idea. Maybe the person who's ahead in line just steps their ass back there.
That's the thing.
That's
that
what I
I've done
always
before. Do. Yeah. Like we want to reunite. Like just let the 3 people in front of you and go with your friend or something like that. That works.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, tomorrow I'm going back out into the wilderness, looking for our survival trip spot.
Nice.
I'm gonna
remember when that is, right?
I don't even know when it is.
Well, we were saying we're gonna do it the 1st of next month, right? Not literally the 1st or whatever, but actually, yeah, literally the 1st, right?
No, it's the 31st.
Oh yeah. So we go. Yeah. So yeah, I know when it is. But I mean, it's not going to happen at all unless I find us a spot to go. So I got to get on that. I'm going to figure out exactly where we're going to put the thing. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think we're going to be able to get Joe to come with us, but I feel like we should get a 4th somehow. I don't know who it would be.
So no.
So wish
no,
we
there's
didn't
nothing
say
else
that out
holding
loud.
it. Nothing is holding up this trip. It is the 3 of us, unless a suitable candidate is suggested by the 3 of us.
I don't want any help picking the 4th. Just so
I'm so glad you said that.
Well, that wasn't stated very clearly when you said.
Yeah. Let me just guarantee this. Like, you don't have any ideas that I haven't thought of. I promise you, mass public, who's like, pick this guy, pick that guy. Like, if I'm not picking somebody, I don't fucking like them. So just deal with it. Yeah. I just don't like a lot of people. Just blame it on that. How about that? It's because they're assholes, not me. That's
I don't know if that part's part.
Let's play Am I the Asshole? It's them.
It's them. All of them. So So yeah, and you know, whatever. I think it'd be cool to have a fourth. I'll work on getting like, I don't know, Jeremy or something like that. We'll get Jeremy and we'll make him pretend like we'll call him Taylor the whole time. We'll get Jeremy, we'll call him Taylor the whole fucking time. That's what we'll do. My neighbor's the worst. He moved out and abandoned his 2 goddamn dogs. It's like a 10-year-old dog and like a 3-year-old dog, and they're fighting all the time. Where the little ones, the young ones, beating the shit out of the other one. He left them over there, and it was like 90 degrees with no water and no food.
Yikes!
But I guess enough of us neighbors called and complained that the guy's parents, who actually owned the house, like forcibly made him come back and take care of the dogs to some extent. So that's good, I guess, for now. But you know, it's just a piece of shit. It's real sad. They're over there all fucking panting, and there's flies on them and shit.
Oh fuck!
Oh, those poor pups.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Are you gonna take?
Oh, and then like
revenge
animal
on their behalf?
control. No, no vengeance will be on my hands. I shall turn. I told you, I've already got beef with that big lady. You know,
how many felonies do you have so far?
2.
Those are rookie numbers, Kyle. You got to pump those numbers up. Those are the convictions.
I mean, the beef you have with that big lady, it seems like she just wants beef. You know, because it doesn't seem to be your fault.
She got big.
No, because here's how I know that she's just a real piece of shit. When I first moved here, one of my dogs got out and ran across the street into the neighbor's yard. I immediately went over, grabbed him, took him back inside. But as I was doing it, a random gentleman was walking his dog down the sidewalk, and I was apologizing to him for perhaps spooking him with my unleashed dog. And he was like, "Oh, I don't care, but the queen bee lives right there. Better watch her. Don't let her catch you slipping." And that's when I knew we had like a homeowner association fucking bad bitch in the neighborhood.
The queen
and
bee.
That's what it is. It's she gets up every morning at 6 a.m. I know, because I'm often up at that hour, taking my dogs out, and goes to work every day. And then she comes home and fucking worries about me and my dogs. Like, she's already reported me to animal control at least once. Like she's fucking ridiculous.
Whoa.
And then one time, my groceries got delivered to her stoop instead of mine. And she said, "Tell your delivery drivers not to use my driveway to turn around in. I have a crack in my driveway, and I pull in a special way not to put pressure on that crack. And they're just backing right in, using my driveway to turn around." And I was like, I'm not going to be able to communicate that to drivers. They really struggle. Ma'am, they already got the food at the wrong address. And you're wanting them to have special back out instructions. Like I don't think this is going to vibe. And she's just all, "Okay, then fine. That's how it's going to be." So now I'm like trying to rig up one of those water balloon launchers from the 80s and shoot like Roundup filled water balloons over my house into her yard, like medieval times.
Roundup.
Yeah, like kill her whole yard. But then I remembered I'm a goddamn adult. And so I just,
So you're
turned
gonna
the
TP
other
your
cheek.
house.
No, I turned the other cheek. God damn it. Just let it go. Decide that I will be the adult, and I'll just let her insolence slide and not be a piece of shit and not shoot water balloons into her yard like a child, which is what I would have done when I was 20.
That's what you would have done at 20, is launch raid into their yard.
I had beef with this one guy, and I went in the dead of night.
They couldn't get 2 actors. Guy on both sides of that. That's stupid.
But yeah, I've killed someone's yard before. I've sprayed it with Roundup and gotten it. It took weeks for it to start dying. At first, we were like, "Damn it, nothing happened.
Damn it, grass is tough."
And then like
Put a
it
penis
started
on it.
dying. A penis would have been brilliant. It really would have. But we were just trying to cover as much surface area as possible. He deserved it. He had been outright mean,
rude.
Dude,
rude
I'm
was
on
the
the
word. Yes.
Unethical Life Pro Tips subreddit.
Oh,
they're all about clever revenge there. It's really the theme of the subreddit. How to damage people. Some of it's rough, like fucking with people's cars in ways where it's hard to catch you.
Oh.
Have you seen
criminals?
the revenge subreddits? The like nuclear have you seen those scales of those?
Yeah, there's like professional revenge and petty revenge and
petty revenge is fun. All right, so I like the ones where someone like they've been stealing the guy's breakfast burrito for a month, so he fills it up with habaneros. That's revenge, goddammit. You don't have to report someone to the feds.
Dude, this is like
I photoshopped him into January 6th and I'm reporting him to the FBI.
There
he
is
stole my burrito, so I planted crack on him.
I'm not kidding, that exists. Like, okay, so the scales of this, the petty revenge is the habaneros in your fucking burrito that someone's stealing, or like slightly making someone look bad at work. And then it goes pro revenge, which is the natural step up to that they created, which is like, you know, killing someone's whole lawn, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then there's a few after that ending in like nuclear revenge, where it's literally like, this guy stole my burrito at work, I killed his wife. Like that sort of level of shit.
Damn.
It's insane. None of them are justified. If you go on there, you'll see some insane shit.
You know, one of my favorites was a
justified.
guy kept stealing a woman's milk, like that she used for coffee or cream or whatever. So she replaced it with breast milk.
Yeah,
and then told him afterwards. And
Yeah.
some guys get really creeped out by that.
chugging it.
Motherfucker got enough free upgrade, dude.
For whatever reason, like, all right, so cow's milk, I love cow's milk, and cashew milk is what I've found to be like the best milk substitute for the calories. It's expensive as shit though. When you start adding it up, for some reason I thought those were gallon containers I was buying. They're like like $14 a gallon for that shit. Jesus Christ, it's like rocket fuel.
Cashews are rich man's nut.
Apparently so. I should go ahead and get macadamia milk, but it's the idea of goat's milk or even human's milk is kind of a big turnoff. I'm watching Barry, and there's a scene where one of the characters is sort of hiding out in Chechnya on a goat farm, and he pours his off-brand, Chechen cereal in his bowl, realizes there's no milk, and he goes out and straight up milks a goat, and then goes back in and just eats that warm goat milk cereal.
Nice hot milk for your cereal.
Hot goat milk right off the teat.
I bet it's better than dry cereal.
I bet it is too. Yeah,
that's so much of what you have to do with vet. Like I remember when I was in college, my brother was in high school. He had like younger high school. He had like a sandwich, a peanut butter sandwich with like cooked weed in it that he like made a firecracker with or something, like where you put it in the oven with the weed on it. And this literally happened twice. And he just left a weed sandwich under his bed. And this is a long time ago. And we were just sitting around in the living room, me and my mom, my brothers, a couple people. And Tobo, our little Bichon Frise, comes out. And he's acting normal at first. But then, after a bit, he's like stumbling. He's having trouble, moving correctly. And then it gets to the point where he's just, almost comatose on there. Tongue out, eyes red as the devil's dick. And for maybe an hour, my youngest brother was like, I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's wrong with him. And then finally we got him to admit, he's like, I'm sorry. There was a whole weed sandwich under my bed. And we're like, how much did he eat?
What the fuck is
a
weed sandwich?
It was I've never done this, but I guess you can put weed in something with fat in it, like peanut butter. And then high school kids would put it in the oven or microwave it or something, and it made it active enough to get you high. I never did that. Seems disgusting, but he was like, he ate it. And we're like, how much did he eat?
It gets you crazy high.
It got totally fucked up. And he this was the second time he had done this, and so he came clean more quickly. The first time he had accidentally drugged the dog with the firecracker sitting out. He took him to the vet and then had to pay for it for the vet to go is he high? And he's like, yes. And he's like, then you take the dog home. There's nothing we can do here. That'll be $700. like that level of shit. But yeah, weed fucks up dogs just like it fucks up people, but way worse. I felt so bad for cute little Tobo that whole evening, both of those evenings, because it's for a dog.
He's probably having the best time of his life, though. He's probably just sitting there in his head and just listening to Bob Marley inside his brain, just
I hope so. I think he was probably horrified, just I've never experienced altered reality in any way. I felt so horrible for him. I knew this one kid in high school. I didn't know this about him until later, but like he would like try and get his dog drunk sometime.
Oh,
Like, and I remember once, like we were at his house for a thing. It was probably like either like early college, and like everyone was at his house. We were all sitting down drinking and everything, and he was like wasted and like laughing, like, "Watch this! I'm gonna give beer to Stevie or whatever." And like you, like even among like drunk, wasted people, like unanimous response, like, "What is wrong with you? Like, don't do that. You're gonna hurt him.
What kind of dog?
It was like a lab, like a normal lab looking dog.
Beer. Miller
Lite? I don't know.
He didn't have Miller Lite. He didn't have
probably
one.
something like that.
Have one.
It's not good for him. You shouldn't like that.
Dude, he killed a raccoon last summer. The dog can have a beer. All right, come on.
He's a fucking killer.
Big boy.
This is the same guy that like after the party at his house once, because his family had a ton of money, like he took us out to breakfast in his car, and he was the guy that like he had all the garbage when we were all underage for all the glass bottles, and we were driving on that road, and like he just threw a trash bag full of glass bottles outside of his Nissan while driving into the other lane, and everyone was like, "What?" And everyone's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" You know, I actually, well, I it's like, yeah, this guy.
That's the most abhorrent.
It's despicable. It's despicable behavior.
Bag of like liquor bottles,
very shitty. Like beer bottles, stuff that cracks. It's glass. Like it was
fucked up.
He did a lot of stuff like that where in his mind
day.
it was like, this shows I'm like a badass rebel, but to everyone around him it was like, dude, you're unbelievably like just needlessly cruel. Like, what is wrong with you doing this kind of thing? Like, do you not think about like the people's days you're ruined? Like fuck you.
I had that happen the other day. I was driving to the what do you guys? We call it the tip in Australia. The dump.
What do they
like,
do there?
The dump.
Okay. Where you dump like trash and shit. So I'm driving there, and I've got my truck, and I've got all this rubbish piled up on the back of it, and it's all in like garbage bags, and of course there's like millions of beer bottles in there because I'm a fucking drunk. But the I'm driving, and there's this woman. She's yeah, but it was too much recycling because I forgot to take out the bins. Anyway,
you don't recycle.
So yes, but anyway, we're driving. I'm driving along, and there's one like bag on there, and I'm like, that's looking a little precarious. And there's this woman, and she's just fucking up my ass in this like fucking tiny little Nissan Micra, and she's following along, and I'm watching, and she's only like 10 meters behind me, and I'm like, can you just like fucking relax? Because if anything falls off this, I'm gonna fuck you up. So, of course, a trash bag falls off and it hits the road and it just fucking explodes and she just runs it over because she's a fucking moron. And so I pull up and I stop and she gets out of the car and she's like, oh, I thought one of those was going to fall off. And I'm like, why the fuck were you driving so close to me then? And she's like,
I have a couple questions.
Idiot.
So in America, if you're taking your own garbage to a dump, it usually means either you had like either a poor person or you live in a rural area. So do you not have garbage men there, or
no? We have garbage men. It's just that like in Australia, you only have like
call them refuse boys,
like specific sized bins that you can put stuff in. So every week you can only get that bin collected. So if there's more than what you have can fit into those bins, then you basically have
not allowed a second bin.
Well, no. So you can only produce a certain amount of rubbish, but I have like so. There's
a rubbish.
A lot of it was. Yeah.
By weight or mass?
Well, it's as much as you can fit into these bins, and they'll collect the volume of rubbish every week, and that's as much as you can get taken away by them.
That's a government thing.
Yeah, it's run by like the local government. So they have like
we have private entities most of the time here.
Yeah. So you can't just put like absolutely everything you have out on
anything in there. They don't even check.
Yeah. Wait, is that how they do in America? That's awesome.
Throw a car battery in there.
Oh, yeah.
They don't
like if you have something enormous, like you can be like, oh, my washer and my dryer, I'm replacing them, and you can just be like, you know, I need a large trash pickup, and then they'll come get your shit. You gotta pay a little price for it because it's
anything that'll go in there, they'll fucking grab it with that fucking robot arm. I like to watch them because I had so much stuff. Like I broke down all that gym equipment and I just had beams, like heavy metal bars, like sticking out at every angle, like the fucking Iron Throne. And they took that shit, dumped it. It's gone.
But
Car
I-
batteries, vats.
I usually go to the dump.
Vats of oil.
Hot oil, heat it up before they come.
Not auto oil,
See, I
but
go to the dump
cooking
because
oil.
I usually go to the dump because I'm doing like renovation. So I'll have like a bunch of like lumber and stuff like that, and I'll put it on the back and then go and take it because they won't take it. So I end up with extra trash on the back of there, and it's just like I'll take it to the dump. But anyway, this woman, she's fucking like, she runs over this bag. She gets out of the fucking car, and I'm like, I'm wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm driving this shitty truck. All right, so this woman immediately judges me because I'm covered in tattoos, and she's like, oh, I thought that was gonna come off, and I'm like, why are you driving so fucking close to my car? Then she's like, oh, I just got new tires. I hope they aren't like fucked, and I'm like, it's not gonna fuck your tires, all right? And I go, I'll give you my number to her husband. I go, I'll give you my number in case there's something wrong with your car. You can call me and I'll fix it. And he's like, okay. And then this woman just goes like this quip. She's like, I'll probably just give a fake number anyway. And I'm like, well, now I'm going to give you a fake number because you're a bitch. So I give her a fake number and just drive off. Like, fuck you, Mom. Like, just fucking judge me. Like,
you think that I'm duplicitous? I'll show you.
Have you ever been
exactly.
Here, in my head, I'm framing it in the "Am I an asshole?" because I think that my opinion on this is atypical. So, it starts off. The guy says, "Yeah, I'm busy." Or the girl says, "Yeah, I'm busy." The guy asks, "Hot date?" ? Well, message me whenever. And she says, "Actually, yeah, good guess." With another guy? No, a girl. Yes, a guy. LOL. Okay, so what the fuck? I'm not getting a try now or what? And she's like, "What? I thought we were meeting up on Saturday." He goes, "Why would you go on a date on Saturday if you're going to go on a date tonight?" And she just gets confused. Like, I'm not into the whole talking to more than one person at a time thing. So have fun your date tonight. Good luck. She wrote, "You matched on Tinder. You think you're the only person I matched with? I'm not a huge fan of your attitude. Maybe Saturday's not a good idea." So now, who is the asshole on this thing?
Him. Well, nobody's necessarily an asshole, but his thought process is crazy. That's just not how dating has ever worked.
I've never used Tinder, but I don't think that's what Tinder
take Tinder out of the equation. Take Tinder out of the equation. Like if it's just a girl you met at the bar last week and you got her number and you're going to meet up on Saturday, if you text her on, now she might be on a date with someone else because she is dating people. She didn't just find you we're not in Saudi Arabia. She didn't say, "Yes, I'll meet you Saturday and every Saturday from then on forever."
To be honest, that's how I dated. Right. And I swear, even me of today, and I know I dated a long time ago, but and I wasn't an asshole about it or anything, but I remember like early on with Jackie, I think it might have been first date or something. I was like, we're going to try this on and see if it fits. We're not going to see other people while we sort this out. And she's like, yeah. Like we were on the same page with that. And never in high school or college or whatever did I like really date two people at once. Or did my girl that was how I worked. And I kind of to me, you said, let's take Tinder out of the equation. To me, Tinder's essential to the equation because it's an extra special sort of like disconnected meeting. Like this is an internet app that paired us up. It's really not a commitment.
It makes his case even weaker it is Tinder.
Yeah, but I swear, maybe by the time we actually met, I feel like I'd want the end of that date to square away whether or not we're seeing other people. And I think I'm weird that way.
I think of it as it's never established that you're not seeing other people unless you establish that of now we're exclusive. Like it's just us. Because this both of the guy is definitely the asshole in this one, who was saying it, because it's even if that's what he thinks, all he had to do is say oh, that's all right. I'm more into exclusivity. I'm more into being exclusive. Based on his spelling, he probably doesn't know what that word means, and so no wonder he didn't use it. But that's all he had to say. But instead, he was just bitchy to her for no reason. And it's like, dude, you are on Tinder at the end of the day. Do you really think that this girl? It's a girl on Tinder, you jackass. You don't think that she's gotten 10 opportunities to get laid since you started typing that first text? It's nothing but I want to fuck you. Yeah, I want to fuck you. Yeah, I want to fuck you.
Let me just pitch this. Yeah, I want to fuck you. Is it possible that when you say hot date ? That you're not probing for the real answer, that maybe that's just
Yeah, that's a thing that people say to someone at the office or to just, a brother. Or
To be snarky.
Yeah, like it
Hot date.
because there's an argument that says, hey, don't ask questions you don't want answers to. But I don't know that he really did that when he said hot date. Maybe he did. Maybe he was trying to probe a touch.
I think he did because of the way he followed up. If he had said hot date and she said, actually, yes, LOL, good guess, he would have been like, don't have too much fun. See you Saturday or whatever, instead of hot date. Actually, yeah. Aha, you've fallen into my trap. And now I know your ruse. You a witch, you whore. And he calls her a whore at the end, which is not a great way to engage on Tinder, I wouldn't think. Not going to catch a lot more flies with honey.
I'm with you, but what if you are wired like me? And, he hasn't even met her yet. So I don't think he has any rights to possession, But
use eHarmony, not Tinder.
It's not even possession though. It's more like possession. I think of more as like when you're in a relationship. Like that girl can be like, that is my boyfriend. He is not fucking anyone else. And that guy can go, nobody better be fucking my girlfriend. But this, not at all.
What if you want that from first date? Right? No, he's
then wait till the first date to impose it.
I'm with you. He has no right to get upset on this girl he hasn't met yet. Right? Her level of commitment is swiping right. Like you don't know.
He's getting hypothetically upset about what could happen and how she may live her life.
Yeah.
What he should say is, me too. I hope they both don't work out, and Saturday we get to connect for reals. Have fun. You dropped that out there. Her mind is blown. And this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Not only is this guy not able to get pussy, but he can't spell very well either, which I look down on strongly.
If you do what Kyle said right there, which is brilliant, that response, you're also putting in her head an available contingency plan for that date she's going on that night. So she's going to be on that date night, thinking like, this really, I guess this really isn't working out. Maybe that Saturday one's going to be better. This isn't going that great. That other guy though seemed pretty good. Like she's already going to be thinking about you in the middle of it.
And my observation is every time I have a girlfriend, like that's been back in the day when I dated, it'd be like dry spell, get a girlfriend. Suddenly I'm sexy as fuck. Right now that I'm off the market, everyone thinks I'm hot. And the opposite would happen. There'd be girls throw themselves at me, and I'm like, they date someone else. Oh, I'm so stupid. I never realized how hot she was until she was unavaiable. And
that's definitely the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. But so this guy's an asshole. I'm with you on that. I wonder, like, how soon can you say we're exclusive?
You can't. There's no set. It depends on the person. So I feel like if that's what your aim is, then, and let's say the first date goes really well in your opinion, and you feel like she is going to be into that too, you can maybe throw it out there like, hey, I thought that went really well. I'd like to see you again next week, but I got to ask and maybe throw this out there. I hope this doesn't weird you out or make me seem like I'm too possessive or one of those nuts that gets crazy and red-faced and screams, but I like to have an exclusive situation. I know we just met. Hey, I'm not looking to marry you or anything, but just for your information, I'm not going to be looking for anyone else on Tinder between now and next Thursday when we go to the movies. And I'd feel kind of weird if you were on a date with another guy tomorrow night. Let's at least give it till next Thursday. How's that sound? Like, you can sell that shit if you fucking make it sound like it's worth buying. But if you come in there calling people whores, it doesn't work.
No. Yeah. I was just wondering if Woody style dating even worked in 2017.
Yeah, it totally works in 2017. You just don't get as much sex.
Yeah.
Or do you get as much sex from fewer people?
You don't get to fuck as many people.
Yeah, but I feel like you can get just as much sex. It just will be fewer people.
They wear out after a while.
That's not true, actually.
That's a fact. That's true. I've read that.
Don't.
No, it is true. Kyle told me.
I flipped the odometer at this point, and it's still going.
I don't know if your wife would like you saying that.
That is a very funny way to put it.
It still runs like new.
So like it was just one day in mid pump, you look down, and you're like, Mike, what?
99999. Holy shit! Hang in there.
And we're back to brand new.
You can go get those vaginal rejuvenation surgeries where they go in, they tighten things up, and I imagine that is like going to a shady used car dealership where they put the drill in there and roll back the miles.
Yeah, the vaginal rejuvenation surgery is for people that have had babies, right?
Sure.
See, that's
That's
a
one of
thing
the
that
reasons you might want to have it, or maybe you just want a tighter vagina, independent of babies.
Yeah, it is a great curiosity of mine. Not that I'm going to satisfy, but Jackie's only had C-sections, so she is stock. She's never pushed a baby out there, and I wonder what the difference is. I'll share this. I don't know if I should share this, but here we go. Jackie was on vacation. We would go on vacation with like another family, right? You know, we're like childhood friends or whatever. And oh my God, I'm sharing this. She had to borrow a tampon from someone who had had a bunch of kids naturally. And she's like, holy smokes. And the woman said, yeah, well, you know, you get 3 or 4 kids and you know, that's when you buy these big ones. And so that's like all I know on the topic. Like I haven't like been with thoughts. That's what I know. So I'm like, like what does change down there? How?
So it's just like Gollum walking around the ship, like knees raised like a football player.
I think she just had to adjust, you know, I don't know. I could ask her, but let's get her on the show.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get call. But yeah, and these things are not discussed in polite society, but here on PKA perhaps, and it's not a lot of opportunity to like gather information on this.
Yeah. That's something that you realize, you know.
I wrote a thesis on this about 2 years ago. I don't know. There are definitely different sizes of vaginas out there, but they are all, more or less equally satisfying in one way or another. And there's a myriad of positions to get in to change the tightness or looseness, if you will, of a vagina. You know, if she's like facing you on her back and you like take her one leg and like fold it over the other and like make her cross her legs like lady like, and then you just keep crossing the legs until they're almost like a T. Like you've got a very tight thing going on there.
There should be a name for that in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like,
yeah. They put her in half guard, you get her cradle.
Crisscross applesauce, and if she doesn't tap, then you get a real tight job.
You put her in a Kimura, and that's going to open things up a lot. Trust me. So there's definitely that, but I don't know. I've been with a really tiny girl before who was like maybe 5'1" or something like that, and it was like, oh my God, like this may not work. Like we may not be physically compatible. But I've also been with like a early 40s, like, lady who'd had a couple of kids and had these giant fake titties. And there was definitely a difference there, but it was still good times. Like there was no like, there was no like disappointment. It was like, oh, this is a different pussy. This one does different stuff. Oh,
it's like a cheeseburger or a pizza or something where it's like, yeah, there's some that's like really, really good that you're going to think back on. But you never get like a burger at some pub and like have to send it back because it's just unpalatable. Like it's always good.
I have never
always
sent
going to be
pussy back.
fine. It's all pink on the inside if you order it medium.
Never sent pussy back to the chef, not once ever.
Well, Kyle likes pussy more than Taco Bell.
I do like pussy more than Taco Bell.
The same for him. You know? That's a date one for his Tinder gals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll pull something from your listo stuff, or we can do the Am I the Asshole? Which is fun.
Wait, what's that?
It's like these stories of people who are seeking validation and always know they were kind of being an asshole, and they ask, given their scenarios, how much of an asshole they're being, and then people say, yeah, you were being a real prick, or they're like, no, you were 100% in the right, which it's never 100% in the right, because otherwise, no one has to be like, oh, I gave $6 to a homeless person. Am I an asshole? Like,
I have one. I have one of my own personal life. Okay, so here's the deal. Jeremy's wedding, as many of you know, was not too long ago, and there was a big jar for everyone to throw cash into for like, you give as this wedding gift. It was like here, the honeymoon fund or whatever it said, and I didn't put any money in.
What did Taylor just say? Tact?
No, Pabst. Like it was a joke that they were going to get more Pabst Blue Ribbon for the wedding. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on.
So I didn't put any money in, and here's why. I paid for Jeremy's MMA subscription, and he never went. $1,400 I had to pay for him not too long ago, about 8 months ago. Had to write a check for $1,400 to cover Jeremy's MMA training that he never went to over at the gym. So I feel like He gets no wedding present. I was there. That's it. Am I an asshole?
Nah,
I never even mentioned it to him.
You should have given him at least something for the occasion, but I can understand not giving him something big because $1,400, that's more than I guarantee anybody else there gave him, other than like a parent maybe. But, or I don't know. I don't know the scenario really. But you should have given him at least like, throw him a 20 or maybe a toaster that you don't like anymore. Just something. Just because it is the occasion.
I would have done a token gift too, right? And also, I feel like you could have given a gift appropriate for this crowd and it wouldn't have stung too much, right? Like I think a lot of other people may have been giving things in the $25 range. And if you had dropped in $25, then the real gift is the $1,400 obviously. But
yeah, I already dropped in $1,400, so I think I'll just leave it there.
Mike,
I'd be pretty pissed off if you didn't actually
Plus, you have to keep in mind, like, my relationship with Jeremy has always been one of me, like, covering him, like, everywhere at any time. Like, I'm always buying his drinks. I'm always, like when we go on road trips, I just know that, like, Jeremy fuel is a Red Bull, a pack of Marlboro Reds, and a candy bar. And as long as, and every morning, I got to buy him one because he didn't bring any fucking money on the work trip. So, like, nah, Jeremy gets no gift. No, I came, I saw, and I left. But I'm not gonna.
You left pretty early too, didn't you? So
I left right after the ceremony.
Kyle,
yeah,
I love you like
they
a
had
boyfriend,
the reception,
but I'm gonna say you're the asshole in this one. I'm gonna give. I think you should have given him what would be a token gift to you would have been a gift for the crowd, a gift that fit the ceremony.
Yeah, you should have given something at least worth like $20, $25. Like
or
not
$25.
much, just something to show that you gave a shit about his special day. But I understand not getting anything more than that because you have supported the guy and paid for a lot more than your fair share.
I definitely understand. Yeah, but on work trips, by the way, like you fund it. I mean, no one out here, I don't think, spent a dime the whole time they were on the team building trip. Every meal's provided, every trip, all the gas, all that. Like
his cigarettes and his Red Bull, like these are luxury items.
Could have bought him a carton of Marlboro Reds. Perfect.
He'd have liked that.
I don't know. I mean, it does seem like the things like
you
that.
didn't buy Chiz cigarettes, did you?
He didn't smoke. I didn't.
If he had smoked, but
I
you
wouldn't have.
If he'd been like, "Hey, Woody, I need a pack of Marlboros. Let's go."
I wouldn't
like you would have done
the whole
that.
time he was there.
He didn't. Yeah, and
Good for
like
him.
it as a non-smoker, like you really would know if someone had smoked. When I picked him up, he had smoked recently. I could smell it on him. I guess he got off the bus and had a cigarette, and then I'm about positive he didn't have another cigarette until we left. Yeah.
He was sneaking out at like 2 a.m. like a 14-year-old, then coming back in and showering real quick.
He would have to do all that. I mean, he slept inside in the guest bed. There's no way he like has a cigarette and then comes back and sleeps in our bed. And I don't know that he was smoking a cigarette.
I think you give yourself too much credit for smoke detection. Like definitely, if you kiss a girl who has smoked, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a smoker's jacket, like if you smoked a pack wearing these, you can smell this jacket and know it. But I think you could go smoke a cigarette, chew some gum, walk back inside, and you wouldn't know it. As long as you weren't like there's different ways that if you smoke and you're just like blowing the smoke and like living in a cloud of it, really like
Humphrey Bogart puffs.
Yeah. If there's just like a trail of smoke, like going, but if you're in the wind and you're like blowing it away from you and you're like keeping your hand away from your body and then you wash your hand, like that's what smells to, in my opinion, what like if I've smoked, I could always smell my hand and like I would smell the cigarette right there. And I could definitely like taste it on my breath. But
Mike,
if I
non-smoker,
I don't smoke. I absolutely hate smoking.
All right, so
but like
that's
my
perfect.
ex-girlfriend used to smoke though, and I hated it. And then she used to blow it out, and I would actually never know. So,
well, I apparently have a superpower because I would trust her. I'll put it right next there to my ability to resist electroshocks.
Electricity, yeah, which is unproven, by the way. I don't know what you're basing that. I've seen you get electrocuted several times, like to effect. Like,
shut up! I'm hanging on to this.
like I've hit you with a stun gun. Like it worked.
No, it didn't.
I'll bring the stun gun on the trip. That'll be
Bring it. Bring your stun gun. You got nothing.
That'll be fun for some entertainment. Little stun gun action at paintball.
People will volunteer to get stunned. Just make sure they're 18.
My thing is I like tasing people. Like
who doesn't?
And yeah, like there's a huge difference. Like a stun gun is like, zzz, haha, I shocked you a little, right? Yeah, you felt it buzz. It hurt a little, huh? But tasing is like, yeah, you're fucked now, aren't you? You are so fucked. Like, it's complete like incapacitation. Like you're on the ground shaking in horrible pain.
He tried to tase me.
Big difference.
I took the clips out of my pec and then shocked him back.
Those are absolute. Like, yeah. Oh, what are you, Wolverine? Like, it's complete falsehood. Like, nothing like that happened.
No, I believe it.
That's one of the things that I always say no to. Like, I don't want to get shot with a taser at all, not even a little bit. I'm happy to shoot others, but I don't want any part of that.
Do you guys want an Am I the Asshole?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So my story. Oh, sorry if my story doesn't flow well. Let's start off with some background story. Me and my ex, let's call her Amber, used to date 2 to 3 years ago for quite a long period. There was never anything serious. It's a long time for inserious. A few weeks ago, she started sending me nudes, trying to get my interest again. She looks good, and I'm totally sexually attracted. However, she of course wants a relationship, and I couldn't imagine myself loving her back. Heck, I can't even imagine us holding hands. Simple reason is that she can be very embarrassing to hang out with, and our personalities are too different. Now, I explain this to her, and she keeps sending me nudes because I show appreciation for them. Why wouldn't I? They look amazing. But at the end of the day, she wants to get back together, and I just like seeing nudes. Am I the asshole for giving her false hope?
That's pretty harsh to be embarrassed by her.
Do we have any nudes?
Yeah. We need to see these.
If you could forward those along, I feel like we could make a more informed judgment call. That matters. No, I don't know. I don't understand the debacle here. You tell her.
I don't get it.
You tell her, you tell her the truth that you don't want a relationship, but you would like to continue getting nudes from her.
But he hasn't
and maybe do
done
some other
that.
stuff.
He says that he's leading her on. He's giving her false hope, is what he actually says, and he shows appreciation for him. So he says things like, he did say, I explained this to her. So he explained that he didn't want to go out with her. But he also says things like, baby, these look amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much. And she keeps sending nudes. He's giving her
There's
false
nothing
hope.
wrong with saying that.
No, there's not.
That's not
it would be
leading her on.
weird if he said nothing.
Yeah. I don't see how that's leading her on. Like
she likes him. She wants a relationship with him. He's saying you look great naked, but he doesn't want a relationship with her. I feel like he's friend zoning her.
She went in the wrong order. She went 0 to 60, and he's not even in the car. Like
No, this isn't the friend zone. This is the fuck zone. This is where you want to be. I don't understand the problem here.
She doesn't want the fuck zone. She wants a relationship. She wants a relationship, and he's not telling her, baby, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Well, they already had that, and it didn't work. And so she should know.
No, you're not being an asshole. You should continue this, and you should try to have lots of sex with her. You should try to have lots and lots of sex with her, and you should send those pictures along so we know what we're looking at here, literally.
Exactly. And I wish you would have given an example of what the embarrassing thing was. Was it just an annoying laugh? Was she like saying wildly racist things loud at the Olive Garden? Like, oh, these breadsticks are great. Wish we weren't being served by a Jew.
There's more.
Or like,
There's more to this. Edit. I've told her she's a good-looking girl and I appreciate her attempt, but I am in no way looking for a relationship. Not now, not next week, never. It won't work, period. All right? I've told her this multiple times, and she would stop for a few weeks and then suddenly sent them again. I'm just not talking about 1 or 2, but every single day, about 5. So
nice.
5 nudes a day. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I've explained the situation. I've ignored her pictures. It seems like she's aiming for a friends with benefits relation, but I can clearly tell she wants more. So
this guy's such a pussy.
Yeah.
You're such a pussy.
This
You're
guy's
such a
losing
pussy that
me.
You're worried about her feelings, and she's not even. You're like, I hope I don't hurt her with my dick. You are the biggest pussy ever. Someone else should come along and fuck this chick. You suck. You're not an asshole. You're a pussy.
They're close.
They're close.
See
but
what I did?
Completely different. Completely different. You're a pussy.
Kyle
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
This guy has lost me. I was on his side with the whole, yeah, you gotta hurt her. She wants a friends with benefits, hoping that she can leverage it into more. She is okay with the friends with the FWB thing. God.
You know what this is? This is an anonymous humble brag. That's what this is.
It
This
might
guy's
be,
humble brag.
or it may be one of those self-hating men. He's just afraid that like I read that thing on Tumblr that said that there is no such thing as consensual sex because like a woman can't. It was this whole thing. It said like all vaginal sex is rape, and like there's guys on there like I see the point, like trying, and it's just like, what's your motivation there? No, this guy's a pussy. Someone else should be fucking this chick. She's not just sending those pictures to you, just so you know. There's a reason she's taking so many. Like there's a bunch of people getting those pictures. She wants to fuck you and some other people. She wants dick, and you're a pussy. Don't worry, she'll get it somewhere else. Like she's already fucked somebody else by the time we reply to this. You fucked up.
Yeah, that guy's.
Like, you don't
kind of a
always have to
jackass.
be like worried you're gonna like hurt someone's feelings with your penis. Sometimes it's okay to just fuck someone. I don't understand where this guy's coming from at all. He's clearly wanted the D.
Yeah.
Doing your best to friend zone yourself, but you're failing at it, which is incredible.
Mike, did you answer
Yeah.
this?
See, I think I'm a bit different to Kyle.
You sensitive little fuck. Fuck her.
Yeah, pretty much. See, I'm the type of guy who, again, would prefer a relationship and have sex. So it's like, I'm a bit different in that regards. I wouldn't actually fuck her. So,
A single you would.
Define a relationship. What does that mean? Like, do you only want to have sex with someone if it's monogamous and you're like making breakfast for each other?
oh no, no.
Or couldn't you imagine a scenario where just like you were dating like 5 different chicks and you just had sex with all of them and that was just the deal? Because that seems like an ideal thing if you just had like multiple girlfriends and they were like part-time girlfriends.
See, I don't know. Like, I'm more of a guy that is morely focused on like one girl at a time. I
don't understand.
I don't
What
know.
are you gonna
Like,
do with the double dildos you've got in each hand? Like you need more than one. Like
I don't know. Like, if I'm interested in a girl, she will pretty much be the only girl that I would actually focus attention on. And I've also, I don't know. It's just, I'm in a bit of a different situation. Maybe I'm a pussy, but I don't know. All right. So if a girl was sending me nudes, but I didn't want a relationship, but I was open about it, and she just wanted to fuck, yeah, I'd probably do it. But I'd be honest with her at the same time. I'd be like, yo, this isn't actually going to go anywhere. We're not going to in a relationship. But if you still want to have anal on the side, yeah, that's fine.
No, but you'd have to do all of that after.
What do you mean?
You can't lead into the situation with the diatribe of, oh, this is where so and so is going, and from here we do this and that, and just jump into it.
I saw.
All right, so I'd fuck her, have sex, everything. Yeah, have a bit of fun. But then I'd be like, it's not actually going to lead into a relationship. I don't see that between us. If you want to carry on doing what we're doing, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw a video recently where they borrow a brand new Bugatti. I think those things are like $1.5 million or something. And basically, this guy who's a pretty good looking guy, I guess, like he's like a muscular guy wearing like a wife beater with like tattoos and stuff. He's sitting on the hood of it, and as hot girls walk by, he basically says, "Hey," he tries to pick them up. And he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Blah blah blah. And he's like, "You maybe want to go, I don't know, have some sex back at my place. It's just like 2 miles away." And she's like, the girls will be like, "Are we going in this?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, we're going in this." And they're down. They're down every time. He is asking hot chicks point blank. Maybe he's like, "Hey, I'm new in town. I don't have many friends. You're hot. I got my penthouse 2 miles away. Maybe we could go have some sex." And at first they're always a little shocked, but he'll be like, "Come on." This one girl, he goes, "Come on, this is $1.5 million car. Let's go." And she's like, "All right, that good point." He opens the door and she's in. Another girl, like multiple girls do this. And then one of the little twists he does when the girl agrees to come with him, he goes, oh, actually, this is me right here. And there's a Dodge Neon parked behind it. 2 of the girls were like, "Fuck this," and like walked away. But one girl got in the fucking neon with him, and I was just like, "Nice. That's. I don't know what you would call that. If it was a man, I would say he was a gentleman, but I guess just a lady. To think that she was hopping in the $1.5 million car and hopping the $6,000 car, and she was still gonna go have dinner with the guy. But he was picking these chicks up, and some of them were just going to dinner with him, but a lot of them, it was just like sex. It was like, let's go fuck. And they were just like, deal. And so then Scott and I start looking at what a lease on that fucking car costs. I'm like, maybe we should work something out here. Maybe we get like a 12-month lease on this thing. We both chip in. Dude, it's like $400,000 down, $25,000 a month. 2,500 miles a year. That's all you get. So it's like, no, you'd be much better off just buying prostitutes. You could, $400,000 down. I think you get a lot of prostitutes with $400,000 down. But that car, I was shocked that women would just be like, and one girl was so embarrassed. She's like, I didn't mean it.
Were you really shocked though? Like really?
So I know that you could pick chicks up with a car. I know that it would be easy to just be like, hey, get in the car, let's go. Like I've done that before, but I've never been like.
Or is the car just a little piece of the package? Like, do you remember PKA Dan?
Yeah.
Dan had a Volkswagen Jetta when he became newly single. Mike, if you don't know, I have a friend. He was probably 40 at the time. Really good looking guy though. And his wife was almost a cheater, and he broke up and he became single at 40. But he was really fit, climber type dude. And he was always working on the brand, he's like, this is my thing. He like post videos of him surfing, and he's always like in some sort of tight hiker shirt with a backpack on, which would make it like fit right. And he'd do stuff just to pimp his, like, I don't even know, Plenty of Fish like profile or something to make the brand. And the car was part of it. So, in his case, I think he had a truck. Was his truck getting him laid? No, but it was a piece of the puzzle. It just didn't do it by himself.
That's a distinct difference between a truck, which sells a whole package of things, and a $1.5 million car that sells, if you take up on this offer, the rest of your life could potentially be funded. Like everything from here on out, from this moment forward, could potentially be in the bag.
It was so easy. It was shocking.
That's what the car is saying. That if you're with me, you'll never have to work again.
Yeah, there are no worries. There are no responsibilities. It's
Jackie
just fun.
got that, and I had a fucking station wagon at the time. I like to joke, but it's true. Jackie's, you know how like women stop working like before the baby's born sometimes? She stopped working 9 months before conception.
So an anticipatory gestation.
That's a nice deal.
That's a great deal.
I was shocked though that he could be that blunt about it and just be like, I could totally understand if they were willing to go, but he would literally say, we go and have some sex or something, and they're just like, what? Some sex? I just met you. He's like, come on, it's $1.5 million car. Let's go. Or they'll say, are we going in this? And he'll be like, yeah, totally. And they'll go, or they'll be like, I don't know. He's like, we're going in this. Okay. As soon as he brings the car into the mix, no matter what he's asked them to do, they're all down. And I saw Vitaly Z do a video where he picks up women in a Lambo or something without saying a word. He's good looking.
He's good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he's just like, without a word, he's just like, hey. Like I'm saying hey, but he just goes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a regular looking actor.
And they just get in and go with him.
Who's a
Kyle?
Yes.
I want one of your Am I the Asshole stories.
Huh, okay. Let me try to think here. I'll try to be quick about this. Something I'm trying to think about a situation. A lot of these I'm thinking about, I'm like, yeah, you were the asshole. I'm trying to think about one that's a little more ambiguous. It's like, usually I kind of am the asshole.
Okay. That I might have been an asshole. So I was very young at a PetSmart, and they had a bunch of treats dog treats laid out in like a weird, like they were trying to make it look like it was human, when they try and make animal food look human, like, oh my God, it's like a buffet of shit. And there were Oreos that looked exactly like real Oreos, but they were dog Oreos. And I was very young, so I didn't even think about it. Like, it was all laying out. So I just grabbed some, took them home, forgot about them for a bit. And then I thought it would be funny one day before school if I would put those into a plastic bag and bring them and give them to someone there, telling them that they were Oreos. The only thing about them that didn't look like Oreos is that it didn't say Oreo.
It had a paw instead.
It had like a dog bone or something on there. Not right enough to keep a child away, though. And so I brought them to school. There are only like 5 or 6 of them in there. Like, it was a little tiny snack bag.
Okay.
Gave it to my friend. And of course, at that age, like anytime now, like if someone showed up and was like, hey, you want this bag of Oreos? I'd be like, that's weird. If you brought a big bag of Oreos and you were eating some and you offered me a couple, that would make sense. But why did you pack me a snack bag of Oreos?
Yeah.
So
Why are all of those for me? Oh, yes, they're all for you. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, full of Oreos. I just want to sit here and watch you eat them.
So who'd you give the Oreos to?
It was me and my best friend, and then the kid that kind of hung out with us. Like, we were only in 2nd or 3rd grade or something. So like the kid that, when in doubt, kind of tease him a bit to get the best friend to like me more, and his best friend teased that kid. So I gave him the Oreos, and he ate all of them. Like, I don't know what they tasted like, but they must have been
Oreos.
Close.
Yeah.
He thought, like, this is my final initiation to be eat these Oreos. And so he ate all of them, and he became violently sick. Like, probably 3 to 5 hours later, like, just like asking the teacher to go to the bathroom over and over, like going in there, staying in there. Teacher had to keep going out and check on him. And so he either like went home early from school, or his mom like rushed because they got a call of like, oh, your son's been like in the bathroom all day. Maybe he has like constipation problems or something. Just come pick him up real quick. And so I don't think he figured out that it was because I gave him effectively a lot of dog food.
Yeah.
But it could make me an asshole because I did it knowingly, but I don't think.
I'm going to give you a pass because you're in the 2nd grade. You're 7. So I figure, it's okay to feed dog food to kids. I did worse things when I was 7. Trying to think of some 7-year-old me stuff. I remember, I don't know. I got in trouble for weird shit when I was in school. It was always something where like I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Like when I would get caught and then get in trouble, it wasn't like, oh, they got me. It was like, really? This is a rule?
Yeah.
This too? Like, what the fuck? Like I got to plead ignorance here, Miss Thurman. Like, I didn't know that we couldn't break an icicle off the bottom of a car. Right? I thought that would be acceptable behavior. I almost got suspended in elementary school because I did that. Really? There was a car. It was a cold winter's morning. There was an icicle that had, grown off the sort of bottom fender of the car. I go, tink, in trouble. There was another time I flushed the urinal when I was in 4th grade with my foot because it was covered in piss. Because we're in the 4th grade, like there were kids running around with their pants around their ankles, just pissing everywhere. Like it's a free-for-all in there. Flush it with my foot. Big trouble. They call my parents in. My dad's like, I'd flush it with my foot too. What the hell? Like, another time, I did that thing where you put glue all over your hands and make gloves. The gloves were made. Like there wasn't even a mess. Huge trouble. Huge trouble. All parents had to be called in. One time, I accidentally brought a .22 caliber bullet to school in my pocket. They melted down over that. We're talking about 1st grade here. 2nd grade. 2nd grade, I'm like, hey, look at this. Oh my God! Like big trouble over that. Another time, my dad's Zippo was in my pocket because we'd been burning stuff the day before on the weekend. Huge trouble. Like every time some little thing like that would happen, they hated me. I really think I had teachers in elementary school who really singled me out and fucked with me for really no reason.
I got in trouble on the first day of kindergarten for saying penis. I got in trouble the next week for putting glue all over the weird kid's chair because I got back from recess earlier because I had to pee. I remember my first day of kindergarten also, briefly before the penis incident, as they say. I went to the bathroom and I got in a stall by myself to pee because I didn't have urinals, which was weird. And like standing there in my little like 5 or 6-year-old brain, I was like, it just hit me. I'm like, you're at school now. You're a big boy. Your parents aren't going to see what you do right now. And so I peed all over the inside stall walls and the back behind the toilet, just thinking like, oh, being an adult, you know, what is life, you know, just in all over the place. And I felt a little guilty afterward, but I was like, nah, I'm sure all the kids are doing it. You know, I'm sure everybody's, you know, kind of embracing freedom on the first day. Like when college kids go crazy, the kindergarten craze, you know, you get that little first taste of freedom.